Well, welcome, everybody, to a brand new High Rollers. This is an episode of High Rollers. It's High Rollers Day, baby!
High Rollers Day.
It is I, your humble Dungeon Master, Mark Sherlock Humes, and I'm joined by these wonderful people. We've got Rhiannon, we've got Trot, we've got Kim, and on the other side, we have Tom and we have Katie. It's a full house, everybody. Quite a few things to talk about before we get on today's episode. Starting off with a brand new, very exciting thing to announce. Kim, take it away, Kim.
Hi! Do you like smelling clean and
No.
good? No. Okay, well.
I do. I like smelling
You
clean.
like smelling. So we have a very exciting merch collaboration to announce with all of you. We are collaborating with Geeky Clean,
Here we are.
who make amazing bath-based products, including giant bath bombs that are filled with dice.
Dice.
And we have been working with Geeky Clean to make the Altheya collection, meaning you can have a bath with all of us. All of our characters and the Dragon Empress.
Yeah.
Who might be dead, but hey. Could be her ashes, who knows? So Sam, if you cut to, there we go.
there we go.
That is the Altheya collection right there. See if you can guess whose is whose.
That's Rowan, the orange one.
No.
And then you got Gruff.
No.
Okay, so
we have...
Daisy, then Xanthias, then Ophelia, then green is Rowan, purple is the Dragon Empress, and then the blue is Grufford.
Which smells like wet cat.
No, it doesn't.
doesn't smell like
lovely
cat.
and minty.
there's some skulls in those dice there.
There is some skulls in those.
Yes.
Yeah, so the dice are actually in the bath bombs. So you have a bath and then you come out with some dice. Isn't that nice? So there's a whole range of smells there as well. So Xanthias is spiced leather and cedar. Daisy is mandarin peach and vanilla. Ophelia is cherry violet and amber. Gruff is mint juniper and frosted lemon. Rowan is rain clouds and moss. And the Dragon Empress smells very rich of jasmine, amber, and saffron. And there's a discount code. Yeah, if you use discount code exfoliated,
You remember that episode?
you can get 10% off your order. So go check out Geeky Clean now, and thank you so much to Geeky Clean. They are a very small business, independently run, and we love small businesses.
what we love to see.
And they're very lovely humans.
Very
Just
lovely
Very
human
lovely,
beings,
yes.
and this has been a very fun project to work on. So yeah, and if this does well, we could do more collections.
Yeah.
Is this also a big shout out, like a subliminal one, to say that our audience is stinky and they
Yeah.
need to
No,
have a bath?
it's definitely not that.
Have a bath.
You need to have a dang bath already.
Really, genuinely pleased, guys, if you wouldn't mind going out and supporting Geeky Clean and this collection. I got to meet Geeky Clean at Dragon Meet. That's how this kind of all happened. They are a small UK-based business, but they make really lovely stuff. Like, they gave me a handful of testers.
Yeah.
I shared them with the team. We all loved them. And
Yeah.
we're like, let's definitely do something with these guys. These smell
are-
absolutely gorgeous.
They smell so
Also,
good.
as a point, everything that they make is vegan and cruelty-free, so if that's something that you needed to know,
Yep.
you're
Hell
all
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You're all good.
And also, there's nothing quite better than you have a lovely bath bomb, and then at the end of it, you're like, I've got a little dice set. You come out the bath with
And
a
a little
dice
bag
set.
to put the dice in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get the bag too.
What a little fun treat.
So
Slam them into your face, though, just a warning. I did just hit my lip and it really fucking hurt.
They are quite
do
solid.
that?
Don't
I like-
do that.
they are chonky boys.
Really
big.
nice.
Very gorgeous.
You are going to get very
opulent.
You can get bathed
Yeah.
up.
Very, very lovely, very smelly, very lovely. Chris Trott, do you want to tell us about Only Games and DM Stash?
I certainly do. Hey, did you remember that we've actually got minis? Oh my god.
We do.
These are the 250% scale ones. You can also get the tabletop ready ones at 32mm on only-games.co. And you search for the High Rollers ones, or there's a link in chat or the description right now. Get our minis. They're incredible. And they were wonderfully sculpted by our dear friends at DM Stash. And we would love it if you could go visit them and check out their My Mini Factory, become part of their tribe. Why not? And then you get a monthly drop of incredible minis.
They are amazing.
21
quality
plus minis every month to 3D print, and they come in two different sizes, 75mm. Big Gandalf. Little Gandalf. And also, they come with props and modular terrain. It's not just minis.
Yep.
They've got one coming up in May, which is all D&D themed again. and it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to print a load of that out and show you.
Yep.
When that comes out.
No.
So
will.
please go support DM Stash.
Very cool. We've seen that a few people have been getting their bundles that they've bought. They've got their bundles. We've seen people have been buying the big bundle and the little bundle.
They've been arriving.
And they've been arriving. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
They're also, and this is, me speaking as a miniature painter, the level of detail is really lovely, but they're actually easier to paint than you might think. You might think that they're so detailed that makes them hard to paint. No, it actually makes them lovely, gorgeous miniatures to paint,
The
even if
dry
you're a brand
brushing.
new one. Yeah, very satisfying.
DM
Very
Stash
lovely.
have been in business for 3 years. It's their 3-year anniversary, and they've had plenty of time to refine their sculpting technique for
Yeah.
getting detail real small, but also nice and paintable.
Yeah.
So
And we've been following them
Looks
for
amazing.
ages.
I'm already a
You've got
subscriber.
a load of stuff.
This was my dream collab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of very cool collabs, and like this is the thing for us. Like with us, like being able to do these cool collabs rather than doing our own merch is actually great because we don't have a lot of the manpower and time to like run and do our own merch. So getting to work with Geeky Clean and DM Stash and Owner Games as well, this is the perfect opportunity for us. And the more you guys support it, the more stuff like this we can do in the future as well.
Definitely. Get
Last.
our minis, put them in the bath. Is that right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, don't
no.
do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. You don't want those minis going where they shouldn't. It's fine. Right, last thing then.
I do.
Last thing, do not forget, I'm going to keep bringing it up. September 17th,
Do you
Adelphi
remember?
Theatre. Do you remember? The 17th night of September, the High Rollers played at the Adelphi. It's our live show. It is happening. Tickets still available. They are slowly going, so soon we're going to start running out of those really, really good seats. So if you can, if you've got payday coming up at the end of the month, this is your time. Go on, grab a ticket, tell your friends. We're aiming to make the show very accessible to people who don't know D&D and who have never seen High Rollers before. So this is a great chance to bring your mates along. Maybe they're a bit interested in D&D. Maybe you think they'd like High Rollers. This is the perfect time to bring them along. Have
If
a
you're
lovely
like
time
a
out.
manager in an office, you're like, I need to organise a work do
Work
for my
do.
entire office.
Just buy it all.
Just
Buy a
get-
ticket
yeah,
for
just get the
everybody.
office in.
They'll love it.
I'd love it. You'd love it. It's tax deductible. There you go. Who goes? But no, seriously, come and do that. It's also going to be a great opportunity. We've seen a number of our community members are going to be meeting up during the day before the live show.
Yeah.
If you go, you can check the link in chat, in the video description, all of that kind of good stuff. Gives you all the information about the show itself, and it's going to be a really good time. It's our proper West End theatre. We've got cool plans on
It's
stuff that we're going
legit.
to do. It's going to be great.
The same company are taking care of us as they did Critical Role.
Yeah, it's AEG Presents who did the Critical Role live show, and they've been amazing, and they're looking after us, and we're very excited. In fact, some of you, if any of you went to go see Dimension 20 live, might have got a little flyer, because I believe Eliza might have been out giving flyers at the Dimension 20 live show. So if you got to go and see that, and if you enjoyed that, I think you would have a good time with our show as well. But that is going to be it. I am gonna do. No, I will save that for later in the episode. Let's run the intro,
Okay.
and then we'll see you then.
What was that?
Okay.
What's going on?
In the streets of Ashen Rest, returning from the great stone tower called the Pharos, our heroes were ambushed. From the glowing everlights of the Lamplighters Guild, demonic smoke creatures appeared with the intent to kill. A battle took place, and whilst the party quickly dispatched the lesser soldiers and minions, a demonic mage and assassin caused havoc, and things seemed tense. Eventually, only one foe remained, and Altheya charged in to take them down, but with a sudden and powerful blow took her by surprise, and with smoke pouring into her body, Sister Ophelia Della Rosa of the House of Blood of the Kingdom of Osseous was slain. You all stand out on the quiet back street of Ashen Rest. You can hear in the distance sounds of footsteps, people running away, or perhaps people running closer, you're not quite sure. You can hear the murmurings in the buildings of civilians who have been witnessing this battle. But all of that seems far and distant. For laying on the stones is the dead body of Ophelia. Her skin discolored, black veins crawling up her neck and along her arms, her eyes almost blackish in color. The last remnants of demonic smoke leaving her mouth. All that remains of the creatures that did this, ones that you fought, are piles of essence, magical essence, dust, sometimes left behind by magical creatures. There is no other evidence that they were here. What do you do?
Was Rowan down?
You
Was stabilized?
Stabilized.
at zero?
Stabilized, yeah.
I think we
But-
described you seeing it through kind of bleary eyes.
Yeah.
I'm
it's-
conscious, but
Yeah, I don't like you being fully unconscious, but you just couldn't act at this time. There's more than enough time for your team to come and get you up on a hit point or something like that. So we can say that you are up now, but just heavily injured at this point.
I think unless anyone else, of course, would do this, Rowan would use his first bit of strength to scoop up Ophelia and just be kneeling down with everyone else and just
Cradling the body kind of thing.
crying, kind of rocking back and forth, probably pumping in my last remaining spells as like an attempt to do healing word or anything like that.
You find Rowan. Well, for Rowan magic, we know that your magic kind of connects with the earth and stones and things like that, but also music. What does it look like when Rowan is using this magic? Like, how does that manifest itself? What things is he drawing on, or what kind of effects might it be, causing around as you try and pump this magic in?
I imagine it would be frequencies and vibrations, not anything like an earthquake, but, little bits of dust would be flittering just above the surface, vibrating enough just to be raised and creating geometric patterns around me and Ophelia.
Is there a rhythm, like a melody to it, or is
Yeah,
this
there would be
just-
humming coming from the lute itself.
Okay.
And an energy and a tone, which is multiple notes all blended together in a harmony.
The healing has no effect. Whatever damage has been done internally or externally to Ophelia is too severe for magic to heal. But can you make a performance check for me, please?
Uh, 18.
I don't know.
Write that song down.
Write that one down. That's good. That's a good one.
Okay. The vibrations pulse. The melody hangs in the air, but nothing changes.
Rowan just kind of looks up at the sky. Just beads of tears streaming down both of his eyes. Just unable and feeling futile.
Almost a moment of poetic karma. Rowan's tears begin. The nighttime sky, clouded as it is, a few droplets of rain just begin to fall.
Gruff, what do we do?
I was going to say, does anybody else have anything they would like to do as Rowan is holding the body?
I don't know, lad. I don't know.
There's got to be something, right? We could go to the cathedral, or there must be something.
We can, but I don't think our gods will listen.
Why?
They're not hers.
But she respected ours. They'd understand.
She did. Maybe we have to think about things on her terms. Oh, blast. I wish I'd asked her more questions. Maybe out in the woods. And Gruff is going to kind of tip her head back and with a claw slice across his arm and try and just, as the blood wells and falls, hold it to her mouth.
You cut yourself, and the blood, begins as really a trickle from such a shallow cut with a claw. A few drops kind of go in. My question here, Gruff, is how much blood are you willing to spend?
As much.
Okay.
He saw in the woods how much she drank.
Well, I'll leave this as a decision to you, Kim, the player. I would like you to deal damage to Gruff to what you think that would be.
So, currently on 26 hit points. I'd take it down to... Do you know what? I have Cure Wounds and still I have spell slots, so... He would maybe take it down to the point that he needs to heal, do a Cure Wounds.
1 HP, basically.
So, say 25 points down to 1 HP, and then a Cure Wounds.
Okay.
And then, I don't know if you want me to roll for that, I would probably take it down again to, say, 6 health points. A lot, basically.
Right, let's look at this, very conflicted, because obviously we want the Ophelia to be alive, but also watching Gruff do this is quite harrowing.
Shall we say about 30 hit points then? With the Cure Wounds spent?
Yeah, and I'll spend Cure Wounds.
You watch as Gruffith, this few drops from this claw mark aren't going to be enough. And with a ragged claw, you tear the flesh and squeeze your arm until you watch as Gruff kind of blinks, nearly passing out, surges with magic, and then more, gives more, all of it gushing down, some of it staining Ophelia's chin, not all of it going in her mouth, staining the front of her clothes, onto the armor, clearly going down the throat. There is no change. Xanthias and Daisy.
I think for Xanthias at least, I was quite far away in the arena, I guess, when this happened, and also in the fight, something took over for a while there. A visage of pride and anger and rage sort of overtook a little bit. Maybe that's why he was making some questionable decisions with his own health. But now that the fight has ended and Xanthias kind of returns to himself and sees he's still standing in this battle pose, but his right hand, the glove burning away, ash and ember sort of dripping off that arm, kind of finally taking in the scene and seeing everyone across just sort of surrounding Ophelia. Where's Daisy right now, out of interest?
I'm over by
lamps.
the furthest away Everlight. I just smashed that. So I'm probably over by that.
So I'd sort of spend some time just sort of not confused, but kind of stunned. As far as I was concerned, everything was going just fine for old Zanny. No, I mean, he was killing. He was, doing a lot of damage. He was, it was not going great, but...
For all of you, that last attack on Ophelia was so sudden. And, you have been in fights. You have seen her take you've seen her take deadly blows and then be healed and get back up. For all of you, it would have been a very stunning and surprising thing that this one strike just snuffed her life force out like that. And then to watch the very creature that did it just turn to smoke after it was destroyed and vanish. Its last words, 1 down, 4 to go. kind of maybe lingering in those of you who were nearby.
And then it was only a couple of turns after that everyone like demolished that thing. Can I hear any? You said there were people running either away or closer. Can I?
Yeah. You take a few minutes, Antheus, like with everyone else kind of focusing on Ophelia's body. You move and look down the street, and in the distance you can see sort of armored, tabarded figures making their way to you. I mean, keep in mind that battle probably took about 30 seconds. But there does look like that, yeah, some people maybe went off to get help, maybe call the guards, and it looks like maybe some of the Duke's Guard are coming. But they're like minutes away. Like, you're looking at them far down the street, like it's going to take them a while to get here. Or at least a few minutes at least. Also, the other thing, is you would notice that there are people beginning to like look out their windows, scared, like checking to see if things are happening. You hear like somebody maybe at a doorway opens it a crack, almost speaking to you, Xanthius. Like, are all the demons gone? Like, is everything all right? Like, kind of calling out, like unsure of exactly what just happened.
I am trying to find a place to hide my arm inside a cloak or something. I know everyone here has seen it at this point. Mm-hmm. But
can you give me a sleight of hand roll to see how well you can, like, how quickly you can find something to disguise your hand with?
That is an unnatural 20.
Okay, great. Yeah, you with your cloak maybe, or you tuck it into your tunic like you've hurt your arm, like you've broken your arm or something. Tuck your hand into there. You can still feel the heat pressing against your scales from the hand.
And I'll say to the people inside the house, just stay inside. We don't know what's happened here, but guards are on the way.
Yeah, he's like, he's shut. You hear him like shut it and bolt the door, basically. While Zan's doing that, Daisy.
I think Daisy she'll probably be frozen for a while, but then she'll probably just go over to Ophelia and sit down and just take her hand. Because if Rowan's already tried to heal, Daisy doesn't have anything left that she can do, so she'll just take Ophelia's hand and maybe in her head say to Nim, what can we do for her? I don't know what her god would want.
You hear, well, firstly, as you hold Ophelia's hand, I'm not sure how many dead bodies that Daisy has ever really touched before, but there's a coldness that you're not used to. You're so used to the warming touch of other people, and Daisy often, you find that you are filled with life, and this is, you are touching, and there is maybe a magical sense here, maybe it is the connection with Nim, but you are touching a creature that you know is dead. Nim's voice, very gently, I am sorry, little one, but I believe that your friend was dedicated to the grave emperor, and likely will call her soul to him. If she has pledged herself to a power, he will take her, make her into a soldier within his army. That is the nature of those who have made these agreements. I am sorry. She was kind. I think a little misguided in her beliefs, but she was a good person, I think. But there is nothing more you can do now. She's with the god that she had. She is with the being that she felt was her god, her champion.
We should tell Percy.
With that little, we should tell Percy, enough, maybe a minute, 2 minutes of just that kind of silence and momentary stuff as Gruff is pouring the blood in. Rowan, you're trying to, push the healing into it. Xanthius, you just stunned, looking around. Yeah. Daisy holding the hand. It doesn't take long before you see this squadron of the Duke's Guard arrive. Maybe took them about 2-3 minutes since the battle began to get to you. One of them is riding on a drake, like a mounted, land-based, bestial-like dragon, kind of like a horse, draconic horse kind of creature. and they rush up, and with a squad kind of following up close behind, and you actually see that the man on the Drake is actually somebody you recognize. It's Sergeant Guy Yorrow, who you actually traveled with from Burnell. Just a bald human, like, fairly older kind of military figure. And he rides up and he's just like, by science and science, what happened here? And he looks around, he's like, you two, and he points to two of the guards, form a cordon, let's make sure that nothing else is lurking around the area. And he's like, he gets off the Drake, like, what happened? Are you all right? Do you need a medic? And he is calling over for another guard who you can see is wearing a white sash over their tabard. And you can see they've got like a leather satchel with healer's kits and things like that. And he's like, Ophelia needs attention. And like, he calls them over.
You need to stop switching on every Everlight in this city.
He like looks at you like, what? Sorry, what are you talking about, Daisy? What do you mean?
Creatures appeared from these lights.
Creatures? Like the thing that happened in Riverside, I heard about
Exactly
that.
like that, but more of them, and they came without anyone summoning them.
All right, okay. He'll call over, he blows a whistle, whistles in his mouth. I can't do it. One of the soldiers runs over and he hands them the reins to his Drake. He's like, ride back to the forge, tell the Lord Marshal what's happened, tell them that we need to get the lamplighters to disable all the Everlights in the city. Go and tell the authority what's happened. You said creatures like they said it was a demon in Riverside. Is that what this was?
More than one.
Tell them that demons have attacked Ashen's Rest. And you see this like soldier who's this young, probably a halfling, is like, demons, Sergeant. And he's just like, just tell them I trust these people. Halfling jumps on and rides off. The medic like has a look at Ophelia and just says, Sergeant, I'm sorry, this one's gone. But sees your injuries, because I think, Rowan, you're pretty heavily injured, Xanthius as well, and Gruff. The medic is just like, please let me attend to your own wounds, and like comes up. And unless you reject them, they will offer to try and heal you.
Rowan won't necessarily reject it, but he's just staring
he's
at
focused,
Ophelia. He's just like allowing stuff to be done to him.
Well, there's a little bit of magical healing here, so that you see the medic comes over and begins praying to the Scions, touches you, Rowan. That's going to be 10 hit points back. Gruff, they would do the same thing to you. That is going to be 12 hit points back. Xanthius.
It's okay. Just give all your healing to Ophelia.
Sir, I would, but she's gone. There's nothing I can do at this point. I'm so sorry. I need to look after those who I can still help.
She's fine. Heal her.
I'm so sorry. I know it's quite difficult to accept, but she is gone. There's nothing more I can do. No healing will help her. She's gone.
Okay, then we'll take her elsewhere.
We can take her somewhere if you'd like. Yes, we can do that. There's rituals where we can help preserve the body and things like that, but if there's somewhere you would like us to take her, we can make sure of that. The sergeant, like the medic looks towards the sergeant and he's like, Sergeant, and he just says, let's just give them a minute and like kind of ushers the medic away, like make sure that there's no civilians injured nearby, go and check everything else out. And Sergeant Guy Yorrow will just kind of sit down, like kind of squats down on his haunches and just says like, what do you want to do?
Sergeant Yorrow, I need you to tell all of your superiors that a diplomatic envoy has died in this city because of the inaction against the Lamplighters. We told them of these demons, and it happened again. Not a good look that a diplomatic envoy has died.
I hear what you're saying, Gruff. I will do what I can, but this is well beyond me.
That's why I want you to shout it to everyone.
We'll bring them down. I've sent word to the Lord Marshal. He'll probably bring the High Authority with him. We'll look into this. But right now, what do you want to do? And he gestures to Ophelia's body. Do you want to wait here? The Lord Marshal will probably come here. They'll need to speak to you. Do you want us to take her body somewhere? We can't leave it here.
I don't know. She's a Dampier. She might come back. I fed her the life. It might take time.
All right. you were given the inn, right? Can we take her back there?
Yes. She was trying to make a shrine to her god.
Percy's there.
And Tyria.
Oh, she doesn't
She needs
worship
to be with Percy.
She doesn't worship our gods. We can't take her to the church. That's not where she would want to go.
You see that a couple of the civilians have kind of come out and they're like trying to look at what's happening, kind of spectator horror, right? And Guy Yoro is just like, Private, get those civilians back in their room, kind of just gestures them out because you're beginning to attract a crowd. Like, people can see that it's safe, the guard have arrived, and now they want to know what's happening. And Ophelia's body is not a good look. It's blood covered from Gruff's blood, but has all this horrid, deformation of her skin and things like that. And the sergeant is just like, we need to move her now.
Can I go over to maybe someone, a house nearby of someone who looks like they're in the doorway?
Yeah, you see a dwarven couple, like a young pair of male dwarves, kind of holding each other's hands, worriedly, kind of what's going on?
Excuse me,
Hello?
do you have a blanket or a sheet that I could...
Yes, of course, yes. And they'll rush in and he says, he just calls back. He's like, Hargrim, yes, we've got one in the upstairs bedroom, in the chest. We've got some spares up there. He's like, yes, and he goes up. A few minutes later, he comes back down and it's like a cheap wool blanket, something that you would have for guests or something like that. And he's just like, here you are, dear, here you are. Don't worry about it. Is everything all right?
Can I give them some gold as just I don't know,
You go to offer them gold and he's like, no, don't. Just rejects it.
Thank
Just
you.
like, no.
It's
just a blanket. It's just a blanket.
Just while we take care of things.
We saw what you did. We saw that you fought those things. That was very brave.
Would you tell people what happened if...
Of course.
If any guards, if anyone from the city asks you, can you just
Yes, of course.
be honest with them? There's something going on and I don't want it to be covered up because then this would have been for nothing.
Make a persuasion check for me. They've listened to what you said. I just want to see how much of an impact you kind of leave on them. You can have advantage on this as well.
Yay. Natural 20.
Oh.
22.
For a point, I'm purposely not rolling fate yet because this is a set thing, and then we're going to reset the fate
Beyond
again.
fate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 20 persuasion. That was a nat 20, right?
Nat 20, 22 total.
So 22 total. 22. Nat 20. Witnesses. Great. Perfect. Yeah. You get the sense that you have left a striking impression on these pair of dwarves, Hargrim and his partner. And they just are like, of course, go, and they kind of usher you back. Maybe they bring out water skins and things like that, anything that's sort of that. You know how some people do that thing of they don't know how to help, so they just do the generic things that they used to. Cup of tea, or bringing out the blanket, making sure they start going and speaking to their neighbors and things like that. They've kind of, they go over and start whispering to a couple that live next door and start talking to them about stuff. You bring the blanket back, Daisy.
Yeah, I guess I just want to cover up Ophelia's body as much as possible to stop people looking at it. But I think after she's covered it up, she will still hold Ophelia's hand, underneath the blanket.
Sure. Okay.
I think Rowan will stand up and take Ophelia. I will take her back to our place.
All right. Guy's all right, I will come with you. I'm going to leave some of my men here to let them know. I think you should all come back to the inn, and then I'll have the High Marshal and the Authority come and speak to us.
I think as this happens, Gruff is gonna, as Rowan stands up and this is kind of, moving, Gruff just gets a sense of, he just moves quickly and suddenly and just goes to the nearest Everlight that was smashed by Daisy and just sees if he can find the thing, the
All right,
disc.
there were 3 of them. Which one do you go to? There's middle. Let's just break it down to left, middle, and right.
I think
The one the smoky guy came
Yeah.
from.
The mage?
Yeah, the mage.
Or the assassin?
So I think that was the.
Northern
the
side
mage
was the
came
mage.
from the middle.
Mage came from the middle, assassin came from the right, and then the minions all came out of the two on the left and
The
right.
one the assassin came from.
Okay.
The assassin's the one that killed Ophelia, right?
Yes, it
Yeah,
was, yeah.
that one.
I think Daisy will also go to the other ones because it was something I was going to do.
Middle
as
or
well.
left?
Middle.
Middle. All right. All right, so while you two do that, Rowan is picking up the body. Xanthius, what's Xanthius doing? I'll come back to that in a minute for Daisy and Gruffith.
I think amongst everyone kind of taking action around him, I think Xanthius is still kind of trying to just understand what is happening here, what is truly happening here. Like, there's like a wave of denial, obviously, but he's currently trying to hide his hand. He's trying to come to the idea that something really bad has happened, but he doesn't quite know how he fits in this situation. Like, people are doing things, he doesn't know how he can help. People are running around looking at Everlights, he doesn't know how he can help. Like, he just feels extremely helpless right now.
I mean, yeah, and like in that kind of sensation, I think we've all had those moments where you just kind of follow and you just kind of like a child who doesn't really know what to do.
There's like,
you just follow the
if someone
people that
runs
you know.
past, he kind of turns to go after them, but they get a little bit too far away. Then something else distracts him. He turns around. He's just trying to do something, but he can't really get to do anything.
You know, this is all taking a bit of time as well. Like, Rowan Guy is going to start accompanying you back as the others rush off to get things. Gruffith, you search through the broken Everlight that Daisy destroyed, and there is no disc. Daisy, you do find a disc in the light that you search.
The one the mage came from.
Yeah, middle one. Could I say to Xanthius, can you check the last one? See if there's a disc in it?
Which one? The last one?
Yeah. The one that was furthest on this side.
In the way that you came.
Oh, yes. Did you find anything?
I got one, yeah. I feel like we should just try and... We gave all of the ones that we had for evidence, so we should just try and make sure that we...
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I'll go check that one out. Sorry, did you find something? You found something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does
Gruff?
it look the same as the other ones?
Yes.
It does look the same as the other ones.
It would look like the more recent ones. So it looked like the one that you had in Riverside, but this one obviously is functional.
Okay.
Xanthius, yeah, did you want to say something to Gruff? Or?
It was he's so distracted.
Yeah.
He like
Would
Daisy
would
was
Xanthius
probably trying to give
eventually?
you something to
Would
do.
would Xanthius go over and search?
I
Around,
think
stuff like that?
being told like explicitly, here is something for
do.
you to do. Someone has made a decision for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I can focus on that. If it's something someone else wants from me, then yes, I can do that. So I will eventually give it a go.
Well, you're also the one who discovered, like, knew how to search for these things and like did a lot of like arcana around the discs.
Yeah.
You searched the left-hand side, and that light did not have a disc either.
Okay.
Can you make an arcana check with me? But
Okay.
I am going to say, because you are so distracted and distraught, make it with disadvantage for me.
Sure, absolutely.
I think that that's fitting for the situation that you're role-playing.
A 16 still.
Still a 16. Maybe it's that element of focus, that being given something to do and finally realizing this is how I can help. It's like your mind clicks in and you would find out from Daisy. Daisy found one in the middle. You didn't find one. Maybe you look over at Gruff and Gruff is like shaking his head or showing that he doesn't have one or something like that. You suspect that even though only one of the lights had the disc in, maybe it would likely be something to do with that ley line of power that these Everlights draw on. And these creatures were able to use that to appear from nearby lights, not just the one that had the disc. They were almost able to like use any of the lights within a radius to appear out of, basically. which would imply that it's not just the discs which are a danger, but the whole network as itself could potentially be used, but only to a certain degree, like only within a certain range of a corrupted Everlight.
Right.
If we can sort of call in them like corrupted or sabotaged Everlights, right?
Yes.
Mechanically, you now know that those discs allow these creatures to appear from any adjacent Everlights.
Right.
One of those
So if we don't find one in a event, we could also search the adjacent ones, and we'd like to
you
find
think that ley line of power, because you were the one who worked out that the flow was two-way. Like, these lights were drawing negative emotions in,
And
they
bringing
were also
something back.
sending something back.
Yeah.
And now you're like, they clearly have the ability to send a whole creature back.
I mean, it's after potential years of
Feeding
sucking
and-
bad energy out of the place.
You don't know. But yeah, so that's information that you're able to kind of like figure out as you're examining these lights, and sort of an epiphany moment as you're like, well, how why don't they have these,
Yeah.
all of them and stuff.
Yeah.
Rowan, you begin taking Ophelia back to the inn. The rest of you would be able to follow, but it would take you some time because you're dealing with these lights and stuff as well.
Ron is humming deep within his lungs, an old comforting nursery rhyme from his old village that his mum used to sing to him when he used to have nightmares, things like that. Kind of half for him, and also half to just pass something comforting to Ophelia as well. Sure. Feels like the right thing to do.
As you are humming that, and maybe as you sort of get to the main verse of that lullaby or that main melody, you appear at the enticing devil. And as you begin bringing Ophelia inside, Guy Yoro is just coming with you and follows. And when Guy Yoro steps in the inn, you sense a sort of shadow kind of falls a bit on the inn, and you hear a door slam upstairs. And Guy, like, looks up in a bit of an alarm.
Can I?
You guys are a
Hurry
little bit
back.
behind. Yeah.
Because I think Daisy would have realised, we can't let people into the inn. Oh no. So I think Daisy would hurry as much as possible to get there. And as soon as I get in, I would like to probably go upstairs to the main bedroom and use a charge to connect to Tyria.
Yeah. Let me describe what happens, because when you arrive, Rowan and Guy, like, Guy doesn't seem to notice. He like looks up and he's just like, oh, is somebody else here? And he like moves in and starts clearing a space for you to lay the body down on one of these broken tables. And when he does, a chair slides across the room, and that's when he kind of turns. He's like, And at the top on the balcony, you see a spectral visage, because it is nighttime, and you see Tyria, the scarred lady, stood there, the disfigured face, looking down towards Guy, and he is like slowly glancing up.
Guy, please leave.
Yep.
Thank you.
He starts backing out. Daisy, you arrive, and you see the windows kind of shutting. You burst in, and you see the scarred lady drifts down through the balcony, down towards the thing. Guy is like slowly backing out, and that's when Daisy and the rest of you arrive.
Can I use one of my charges and connect to Tyria?
You can, yeah.
I'm so sorry. We didn't have time to warn you, but we've had something horrible's happened. He's just trying to help us.
Please make him leave.
We will. He's leaving just now.
Who killed her?
Demons. It wasn't anyone in the town, it was demons.
You see she like locks eyes with you, that one good eye from the scarred face. And she's just like, and she would say to you, I am sorry. I will. Let her rest for now. And she vanishes slowly. And
Thank you.
Guy is like backing out.
I'm gonna just watch Guy as he goes out.
Yeah,
and
he
he leaves.
He leaves. He 100% leaves, and you can see he's like not frightened, but he's like, what the hells was that? Like,
Welcome
once-
to our crib.
Once it's past the
This
threshold,
is our
once he
ghost.
gets past the fence, basically, the iron fence out onto the
I will
street.
then lay Ophelia gently down on the table that he cleared,
Yeah, you lay down a body there.
and then look around and see if there's Percy here at all.
Percy was sweeping. He's been tidying up. He moves over and he just stands next to Ophelia's body.
I'll just let them be like that and stand back, I think.
There is almost no movement, and you can make insight checks
On
Oh,
with disadvantage on Percival
Percy.
because he is a skeleton. It's he's very hard to read.
He's also not following a previous order, I suppose, right?
20.
20,
7.
7, 15,
Oh my god, I'm rolling like a king. 17.
17. Anybody who got 15 or above, there's this tragic realization that he's waiting for his mistress to tell him what to do,
There's just nothing, yeah.
and he just he's just waiting.
Yeah.
Just stands there, sort of in default, waiting orders, and just nothing happens.
And Gruff is gonna. He doesn't see this, but he'll be like, Percival, help me clean her, will you?
Ooh.
Would just stand still. You're not. It's not designed to take orders from you, unfortunately.
I think
I think that there would be, after some time, Percival would start doing things like adjusting her hair, like doing the things that Percival knows to do, and just goes about it as if she's alive, like begins sorting out her hair, cleaning the blood, like
And
would start doing that stuff.
I was
but
going to say Gruff was going to start doing that
Yeah.
anyway, especially because there's now a lot of blood. Like he would.
Percival doesn't stop you, but also doesn't, like, if you go to reach and clean the same spot, Percival doesn't stop because you are. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
have that social concept of like, oh, sorry, you're going to do that. It just keeps trying to do it and doesn't let you interfere, but also won't stop you interfering. Do you know what I mean? So you eventually learn, like, okay, he's working like on cleaning up her armor. Okay, I'm going to start like cleaning the blood off her hands and stuff like that. But yeah, you can start doing that process for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'll slowly sort of sit at the end of the table and like rest that hand on like Ophelia's, I guess, like leg or whatever it is, whatever side of the table I'm on, if they're like cleaning top and everything.
Yeah, I'd say like, you know, her left hand would be exposed. Like if they're on the right side, you could sit on the hand and put your sort of which everyone, it's no longer hidden. Like you can see this the blackened sort of like scales, the lines of molten lava or gold or light, embers just trickling on the fingertips as if they were still smouldering, as if like the coals of a campfire still lit, but they're just glowing. There's no actual heat.
Is it, how far up the arm is it?
It's about.
So just
Middle of
halfway up the
forearm.
forearm. Like what is it at that point? Does it sort of,
It starts like merging back. It's like a.
it's not like a hard line.
No, it's not a hard line, but it's like it begins to blend in.
Yeah.
It's very natural, as if it was like naturally spreading. It's not like a hard line or anything like that. It's merging with your own scales. And I gotta say, Xanthius, this is the first time you've really examined it. You don't remember it being that far up your arm the last time you looked.
Yeah.
It was closer to your wrist. Now it's more up your forearm, and you notice that it has extended.
I think I need some bandages.
Does it hurt?
Quite a lot, yes, actually.
Do you need healing?
Healing won't help. Just bandages to cover it up. It's what the glove was for.
Daisy will go and get some bandages, probably.
You've got a healer's kit.
I've
haven't
got a
you?
healer's
Yeah.
kit.
Yeah, I'd say you can
And,
pull some bandages out.
She'll probably put her hand out to Xanthius saying, do you want me to help you put them on?
Please, yes.
And she's a bit apprehensive because it looks terrifying to her, but she's conscious that Xanthius is also he's a bit overwhelmed by Ophelia, and she's just trying
I'm like
to
still looking straight at Ophelia. Like if I move my hand out to you, it's so.
When Daisy reaches out, as your hands draw near Xanthius's, there is a sort of spark of golden light, as if lightning kind of sparks between them, and you hear Nim in your head. That is not right. I do not know what this young man has done, but this is not good.
It's not, but it's not the time just now. We will figure it out.
Be cautious, little one. There is something of the celestial and something of the demonic and something far worse that has taken root in this young man. Be careful.
Yeah, she'll just really delicately try and wrap up the arm without hurting Xanthius and smile at him and try and just...
You can almost feel like it's not hot or fiery, but there is a heat emanating from it. But yeah, you wrap the bandages up. It's quite painful, Xanthius, but yeah. Rowan, did you have something?
Yeah, he's looking puzzled at Gruff and kind of pointing at the hand because he's not seen this before.
No.
But he was kind of processing in his mind he must have been hurt by the demons in this fight before, but then he mentioned that's what the glove is for, so he's looking like at Gruff and just confused.
I mean, Gruff, while Zan and Daisy are kind of
Engaged
with each other, Gruff will look briefly up at Rowan and kind of might make a signal of not now.
He does a big old sigh.
This process, cleaning Ophelia's body, bandaging the hand, like Rowan, maybe you busy yourself with something else, like around the place, like, move that chair back that Tyria moved or something like that. You hear rapid, not hoofs, like horses. You would hear claws, armored claws, as you hear a contingent of riders appear outside. Sergeant Guy will say, friends, we need you out here. And he's like, Lord Marshal, you can't go in there, Lord Marshal. And you hear this authoritative voice like, Sergeant, what do you mean I can't go in there? Please, there's some... We really shouldn't go in there, sir. They'll come out and speak to you. And you hear the little shrill voice of Eramina Willowthorn, the high authority, just like, perhaps we should listen to the sergeant, Lord Marshal. I do believe that there are some truths to the rumor of this place being haunted by some spirit. Perhaps we would not be very welcome. And you hear this sort of authoritative voice, just like, I fear no spirit, high authority, but for the matter of hand, yes, fine. Please come out when you are ready.
I imagine hearing that muffled noises, we would probably all look at each other.
Well,
and be
provided the bandaging is complete for me,
Yeah, I think I will... Did Tyria go back up to the bedroom area?
She vanished. She just dissipated,
Okay.
yeah, so.
I think I will just shout out loud, Tyria, we're going outside so that people don't have to come in. We're going to leave Ophelia with you for now. Sorry again for scaring you. We'll be right back. Love you, bye.
I think as people start to walk out, Gruff is going to walk over to Zan, and because you've got a kind of like a cloak, like a...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and underneath that, bandages as well.
Yeah, so Gruff would start kind of trying to be casual,
Dust him off.
fussing with Xanthius's cloak, but shifting it so that it's over his arm, snapping it, going, smarten yourself up, boyo.
I will, thank you, Gruff. Are you okay?
I am as I always will be. You go with the tide.
Right.
Zan, look at me.
Yes?
Everything's going to be okay.
It better be, because it's not looking that way.
At this point, I'm going to ask you all to roll your Crucible of Fate dice now.
Yes.
As things begin to settle, fate begins to settle.
What's the Lord Marshal's name?
Logan Gray.
Gray.
I did it.
All right, what do we got?
5.
It's a 5. That is a dice for you.
A 1, a dice for you.
Dice for me.
A 4.
A dice for you.
A 5.
5, a dice for you. And also I rolled a 5, so it's another dice for you.
4 and 1.
That's some good fate. That's what we need.
That is what we need right now. You all step outside and you see, accompanied by some rather more veteran and elite members of the Duke's Guard, you see a older, quite tan skin, not dark, not like black skin, but like tan skin man, bald head, fine sort of goatee beard, very prim proper. He does look a little bit aged, maybe 50s or so. Still wearing dress. He's more wearing a dress uniform rather than armor. But you can see that he has a very nice looking sword, like a saber at his side, and wears like riding boots, and he kind of like gets down off of his mount and sort of he nods in your direction. Next to him is High Authority Eramina Willithorn, and also Sergeant Guy Morrow as well, Guy Yoro. The Lord Marshal will nod to you all and say, like, good evening, apologies that we are meeting under these circumstances. I am High Marshal Logan Gray. I have been speaking with the High Authority, and I believe I'm aware of some of the events that you have been involved with over the last few days. What happened?
Well,
Anything and everything you can remember.
we were coming back from a dinner with Tobias from the Lamplighters Guild. When the lamps themselves in the street started to emanate a fog, a green mist.
Green mist.
And that mist coalesced into the forms of creatures, demons, with blades and spells, and they attacked us. They seemed to know who we were. They recognized us, knew our names.
They said that we were the ones that the phosphorus wants dead.
You see he kind of glances over to Eramina. Eramina like shakes her head, but then he says, please continue.
I don't know what that means. But
How did the emissary die?
I don't know.
one of them killed her. It was one blow.
They like, he like nods, he looks, he shares. You guys can make insight checks actually, because he is feeling quite steely faced.
Yeah.
15.
15.
That one.
14.
Not one.
That one.
Yeah, I got that one as
Rowan,
well.
you pick up like there is definitely this man is concerned. Like there's a genuine worry. He looks towards the High Authority, and you see the face of a man who is deeply worried about the events taking place. He lets out a long sigh. He says, I do not mean I have to ask. Please do not take this as any insult. Are you sure that they were demonic? Could they have been magical creatures created, summoned, elementals, some sort of something a wizard might create?
They came from the light specifically. They are not from this world.
But are you sure that they were demons? That is an important matter we need to ascertain.
It was the same as what happened before.
Well, Eramina will say, well, before you said that they took possession of Teresa Lavendale, you saw an emanation, but they took over the body. This they manifested fully, yes?
Completely.
And this phosphorus, did they say anything about it or who or what it might be?
No.
You see that they kind of share a look like, I must ask this because it is very different if these were creatures created by some mage, which we know is a possibility, that mages have the ability to create creatures, inanimate creatures of magical force and such, and that would be a very different matter to this being an incursion of the planes. He sighs and says, I am terribly sorry for the loss of your companion. We have sent soldiers to take witness statements from the civilians nearby. I was told that you asked to disable all of the Everlights in the city. That is... And he looks at Eramina, the High Authority, and she says, that is a, unfortunately, very difficult political situation. And it's that point when you hear the beating of wings.
Here we go.
And you look up, and in the night sky, the crown, the broken prison moon of Sovereign sort of illuminating the sky, the stars, and the very distant shadowed moon of Melee, and flying across the crown, silhouetted by its sick kind of golden red light, you see a draconic form. And it begins to descend and then transforms mid-descension into a man, softly followed by another younger man, as Duke Ignarius and his son Obsidius arrive. What has happened? And he lands with a thud and the stone cracks as he looks. Marshal, what has happened here? They just fall to their knees. You see the Duke, like the Lord Marshal, falls to a knee, salutes the Duke. Eramina does the same.
Oh boy.
Your Majesty, your Draconic Majesty, we are investigating the matter. We do believe that there has been attack. There is a possibility that it was demonic forces. They emerged from the guild's lights, and I want every Everlight in this city destroyed, if that is the case. I will not have my citizens endangered by this political game that is being played. And you see that everybody is silent. Like, lights in nearby houses, like lanterns and candles are being lit as people are like, what the fuck is happening? It is Eramina. Everybody else is like stunned into a silence, but it is Eramina who says, with the greatest of respect, Your Imperial Majesty, as High Authority, you cannot do that. And you see Duke Ignarius, you know, his dark black skin, the sort of dreadlocked hair, all the scars, the armor. He looks at this little old halfling woman, and she stands tall and proud, and she respects and salute, but she's like, I know that is not what you want to hear, my lord, but it is my duty as High Authority to represent Imperial law. You gave the Lamplighters Guild permission to conduct their business in the city. Those lights are guild property. If you destroy them, you will be breaking Imperial law, and you will owe the guild incredible amounts of restitution. I do not advise you do this. And the Duke... Politics. I despise it so. If I cannot destroy them, High Authority, then go and find why these demonic creatures are peering from them and killing people that I have given my protection to. And you see the High Authority just bows at that point, knowing that her victory, if it would be called that, like she has done her job and now she is being sort of reprimanded in a sense. And she says, I am making it my absolute priority, Your Imperial Majesty. Please, I assure you, we are doing everything we can within the law to track this down. Thank you for your wise patience and consideration. I know this is frustrating. There may be a way for us to take action, but it would require sanction of the church. I want Tobias Leto, Janya Cooper, and the deacons of the cathedral at my sanctum first light tomorrow. I wish to speak to them directly about this matter. I will not have my citizens threatened and killed, and he points towards the inn. That is not the land that I have created. It is not the wishes of our Empress.
Can I...
Sure. The Duke at this point has not really been talking to you guys. He is talking to his, like...
Rowan has a folding chair out and a box of popcorn.
We all do. Don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Daisy just wants
rocks.
to take out that disc that she just took from the Everlight. And I want to give it to Obsidius.
Yeah, so you see that throughout all of this, Obsidius has just been stood, and because he is half black, half red dragon, he really merges into the shadows.
Best
and
colours.
he has just been watching this whole thing very calmly, and you sort of, little tiny Daisy approaches this 8-foot tall dragon man, and you hold out this little disc.
I hear that you're very good with magic and the like, and this was from the light that they appeared from. We've seen several now. I thought that you should see it for yourself.
Cocks his head towards you. You are a bold little one. He gingerly takes it in his kind of hand. You see that he has long fingernails like claws, and he delicately takes it. His nails are perfectly colored, like black and red as well. And he holds it up. He's like, I have already seen this. The High Authority has asked my expertise already.
Oh, of course. Sorry, I just thought you might...
This is the one. You say that these creatures appeared. No, he wouldn't say that because he knows that he hasn't been told. My father knows very little of the details so far. What happened?
It was green smoke came out of the lights, and groups of creatures appeared, fully appeared. They didn't possess people, it was just the creatures. And this time there was a mage amongst them.
You gather his interest when you say that there was a mage amongst them. Mage? It could use magic?
Yes,
Curious.
but there wasn't any discs in two of the lights that they appeared from. So,
The other two did not have this device?
no, this was the only one. Xanthius, you looked and Gruff.
I think the mage summoned more demons from the other lights.
Curious.
He drew them forward.
Casts his hand over the disc. You see that the lines of the engraving, the one that represents the different planar realms, begins to glow, and he closes his eyes for a moment. He hands it back to you, Daisy, takes a knee so that he kind of leans in close. I must be truthful. This affair is a matter for my father's people to investigate. I have other matters I need to attend to, but if I were you... And he looks up, and on the walls around Ashen Rest, you see these giant braziers, magical lights.
Oh no.
I would investigate those. And then he takes a few steps back. The Duke goes, Obsidius! Yes, Father. I want you to help the High Authority as best you can with your magic. And then he finally turns his attention back to you. Guests of my land, citizens of Cauldron, I am sorry that this attack has taken place upon you. This is meant to be a safe place, a good town, good people. I've tried to instill in them values that I hold dear to my heart. I am deeply sorry. You have proven yourselves brave and capable. You have done a great service, not only in your matters in Burnell, but in also the River District. I am sorry. He gestures the emissary of Osseous. She is inside.
Ophelia Della Rosa. Not just an emissary.
Of the House of Blood.
He nods, kind of holding your gaze for a minute, Xanthius. It's very much like the Authority, it is very rare that people will stand up to a draconic lord or lady.
This is Ophelia.
Yeah. Sister Ophelia Della Rosa of the House of Blood. I do not know Osseous well. I do not know their customs. But if there is anything I can do to hold an appropriate ceremony, we can make sure it happens. I will need to consult with my archdragon on how we proceed with informing her nation of this. I'm sure that you all understand this is a very significant political event. For a representative of a foreign power to die, it is a disgrace on my name, but also it could cause problems between the Empire and Osseous. I ask only for some patience while I find the best way to resolve this.
Your Draconic Majesty, Duke Inarius, you are a dragon of great power and magic. Is there anything you can do to restore life to her?
Restoring life. I believe Gruffith of Iceheart? Tremoro. Restoring life is a great power, bestowed only by the highest of clerics and priests. I know magic, and there are many dragons who are powerful in its ways, but to restore a soul is quite a thing, and it is not in my power, nor do I believe it to be in the power of the deacons of our cathedral here. You would need an extremely powerful, divine magic wielder to do this. There are tales and legends of places, old places, in the Empire and people with great power, but I'm afraid it is beyond me. I can make sure that her rest is peaceful, that it is respectful. We could give her a place of honor here in Ashen Rest. But it is not in my power to bring back the dead. Only to make sure that they are treated well and that their names are remembered. I am not. Your religions, your beliefs in gods, us dragons do not follow. We have our own beliefs. So it pains me to say that I do not know how to proceed with this. The death of a dragon is a different matter entirely to the death of an Ilkir like yourselves. But you have my sympathy, and I will make sure that the name Sister Ophelia de la Rosa is remembered.
Of the House of Blood.
Of the House of
Sorry,
Blood.
she just really likes to say that part.
A little whisper.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you.
Draconic
Go on.
Majesty,
Yes.
you don't, with all due respect, you don't intend to go inside, do you?
Inside where?
That building? To see her?
I did not intend to.
That's fine. It's haunted.
There's like, he actually laughs. Like, I fear no spirit, small man. I fear no...
Well, I didn't mean that in any way. It's just more, she,
Is it truly haunted? My advisors had told me that there were rumors of it, but I did not believe it to be true.
Your Draconic Majesty, we are so very grateful with our gift of land, but it's very dilapidated and haunted, and there's a lot of bad blood around this property.
We've made friends with her for now, but she just doesn't like when people go in there.
Yeah.
And these two are cursed now, by
We're
the way.
cursed.
Yeah, because of the ghost.
So
Cursed? Because of this haunting on this building that I gifted you?
it's not gone well.
But have you dealt with the spirit? Has the spirit been defeated, destroyed?
We
need to.
aim to put it to rest, and that requires further work on our part.
We're working on it.
We need
Very
to bring
brave.
her justice.
Brave and honorable service. He smiles like, good. I know I gave this to the right people. This curse, what do you need to remove it? Obsidius, is this something you know of? Magic is not really my forte. I am a warrior. And Obsidius, the younger son, kind of is like, I know a little of curses, father. But it is more the specialty of the elf who lives in the tower. They are more adept at dealing with curses, or the deacons, or many of the priests here. What about those, the guests that we have, those sister inquisitors, what about them? Yes, they would be most adept at dealing with curses, in fact. Much of their work involves dealing with malignant energies from the planes. Undeath is one such thing. Oh. Well, if you require money or something like that, I'm sure it can be arranged that we can remove it.
I look at the platinums.
Ah, then you are fine.
I don't think so. Shit.
Yes, if you speak, have you met the elf within the tower, Ravenspire, Blackwing? You have.
We have been summoned.
We haven't spoken since we gained this curse, but
They are quite reclusive. It is quite impressive if you have made their acquaintance. Speak with them. Tell them that you have my favor and consent in seeking help with this matter, and I'm sure that they will assist you.
I will bow.
We will see this right. If Tobias has been a long friend, and I have known his family a long time, same with Chief Illuminator Morris Goldside as well, if it has transpired that they have done this wickedness and invited these creatures here to slay my people, rest assured, there is no rock from which my flames will not burn them. But he looks back at Eramina. Even dragons are bound by the law of the Empress. And he kind of leans in and whispers to the four of you. You have an ally in me, adventurers. I would always stand with the courageous, those who oppose evil, who oppose threats to my lands. I do not care for selfish, greedy desires. He gestures to his body. One must pay the price to defend what is right. I think it is only expectant to do so. Take care. We will get to the bottom of this.
yeah.
He turns. Lord Marshal, double the guards. I want to make sure that there are patrols. We will not have another incident of this nature.
They did say just before you go, 1 down, 4 to go. So I'm slightly terrified, for our lives right now.
Have guards dispatched to protect these adventurers. Make sure that we have people on hand ready to assist them if anything happens. The guard, the Lord Marshal Logan Grey will say, Your Imperial Majesty, if you wish to double the guards, I will not have many men to spare for these individuals. Perhaps one of your Knights of the Realm? I will have Sir Griold. I will have Sir Griold, and
You're welcome.
if she returns, Dame Cassandra as well. But for now, Sir Griold will have to do. The others are away, absent. Very good, Your Imperial Majesty. I think that Sir Griold will be a very appropriate protector for them. My guards will be needed to patrol the city, patrol the town.
Gruff has keeled over in delight.
It's got nosebleed.
Yeah.
In an alternate universe, he is, but right now, the words don't even touch him.
Oh.
Duke Ignarius, before you go, just know that despite our current circumstances, our work is not done. If you call on us, we will assist you.
He looks at you. Right now, there is a threat to Ashen Rest. If you wish to aid me, young Dragonborn, seek it out. Burn out the heart of this rot that exists within my lands. Do that, and you would be doing me a great service, and freeing yourself of this burden and threat that looms over you. I ask no more than that.
Yeah, burning out, Zan.
I'll burn that shit out right out the core.
With that,
I got a lot of rot to burn.
I'm actually going to ask you guys to head out for these last few minutes before we go to break. And head outside and send someone in, please.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very well.
Okay.
Who's there?
All right.
It shall be done.
All right, we'll just leave, shall we? All right, bye, everyone.
All right.
See you then.
Just go. Yeah.
Who is it we're sending in, sorry?
Could you send Rhiannon in, please?
Rhiannon, okay.
You're in trouble, Rhiannon.
Oh, you've done it now, sister.
Ummers.
Hey. Hey.
Hello. Hello.
Come and take a seat.
Go kill it.
It's time to play D&D.
It's time for your annual performance review.
Oh, God. Trauma. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
All right.
You were just trying to delay this as much as possible, aren't you?
No, I'm all right. I'm not scared.
The surging pain of the demonic creature's foul smoke tearing through your body suddenly stops, and everything goes still. For a moment, you think that your new friends have come to your rescue and killed the creature. But then you see that the world around you is frozen in time, dulled in color. The demonic thing, your allies, and the buildings all have a strange glassy texture and appear almost see-through. And your eyeline, standing behind the demon, its foul, smoky hand still held before you, is a being that was not there previously. You see a tall, feminine form dressed in ragged clothing with long, flowing hair. But where a face should be, there is just a skull. The being raises a bow and draws a long arrow with a ribbon tied to the end and aims it towards you. And the entire world seems to pulse like a heartbeat. No, the figure speaks and lowers the bow. You are one of his. I cannot bind you here. You have chosen another path. The figure turns and vanishes into shadow, and the world and the burning pain returns in an instant before being silenced yet again as everything turns black. When you next awaken, you are not in Ashen Rest. You are staring at a glittering sky of stars and feel tough grit and dust all around you. When you sit up, you see that you are on a vast plain of dust. In the distance, you can see a shattered ruin of a town or a city, and far beyond it, a jagged set of mountains reaching up into that opalescent sky. Before you, sat upon a great throne of black stone, being carried on the backs of 100 skeletal figures, is the Grave Father. His muscular body clad in dark iron armor and tattered leather straps, and a weathered scepter and sword lay at his lap. His skeletal face looks down at you. You disappoint me, child. Brought down by the filth of the Helian throne. I expected better of you.
Forgive me, Father, forgive me. I did not mean to disappoint you so. I did not know the danger that was facing us. I'm so sorry.
The world is dangerous. Did you think that the sacred duty I placed upon you would be easy or without peril?
Of course not. Of course not. She's groveling. She's on her hands and knees, clutching at the dirt. There was so much more I wanted to do. You must understand your resplendence. My time was cut short.
Perhaps you were simply not strong enough to hold on to it.
No, please. Please take pity on me, please.
Pity? Pity?
As you did with the mortals before you. Please.
Oh, child. Pity is not what drives my kindness, my mercy. Those mortals, your great, great forebears, they earned my mercy. They earned the gifts I gave them. They scrabbled and dug in the dirt and the filth to survive.
Then I will do just that for you. Let me suffer for you. Please let me be the first drop that rises the tide. Let me be the ocean that brings Osseous closer to Altheya. Please, I will do this. I will die 1,000 times for your greatness. Please, send me back.
Your ambition is strong. Your will needs to be tested.
Please, it would be an honor. It would be a great glory to be tested by you, my lord, please.
He points to those far, far mountains. In those mountains, you will find a temple dedicated to me. Travel to this temple. Profess the lessons you learn. And the Countess and I will consider if you are worthy of a second chance. He lowers his hand and gestures for you to approach. He sort of cups your head with his enormous hand. But be warned, child. We stand at the edges of my kingdom, and these wastelands are home to many dangers. The untethered roam here. They will hunger for your dwindling life force. And as he holds your hand, your head with his hand, he pulls it back and sort of gestures, and all of your armor, your whip, your possessions that you have brought with you here as part of your physical body, it's as if time rapidly deteriorates them, as if they accelerate 1,000 years in the blink of an eye as they turn to dust and rust and just fade into nothing, leaving you in nothing but rags. You have squandered the gifts that you were given, the life that you were blessed with. The living are freed of their obligations and labors, but you are no longer among them. If you wish to survive, you must learn to work, to build, to scrabble in the dust and the grit, to fend for yourself. You will find no food or water here. Your body will find no rest in sleep, but I am not without mercy. He reaches up with his other hand to the sky, and he takes a star. And as he brings his hand back down, it's glowing with an immense light. And he takes his other hand, and like crushing something, then begins to coalesce that light into a jagged bottle-like shape. He holds it to his mouth, a skeletal void where a mouth and tongue and teeth should be, and he blows into it, and you see this ghostly green and blue light fill it. He snaps off a piece of bone from his throne and stoppers the bottle with it. Very delicately hands it to you. I will give you my breath to sustain you. But be warned, there will be no more should you waste it.
I will suffer so that those that come after me can prosper and live free, as you intended, my lord.
Suffer so that you may gain wisdom. Suffer, learn. Remember this. My greatest admiration are for those who refuse to yield to enemies, to disease, to even death. Now go to the temple, should you make it, and if you feel that you have learned the lessons I wish to teach you. Kind of like reaches down and gently kisses the top of your head like a father would. I will look after you. I will give you the chance you desire. For am I not merciful?
So merciful, my lord, thank you. Flesh for the mortal, blood for the eternal. In your eternal name.
He just nods and smiles. And the skeletal figures all stand up and they begin to walk him away. And he almost seems to fade and then vanish. And Altheya, you are left on the endless dust plains of the Greylands. You can see the ruins and then the mountains beyond. And you have no way of knowing how far you're going to have to travel. But maybe if you can, there'll be a second chance for you.
Cool.
And with that, we're going to take our first break.
Dope.
We'll see you in 5 minutes, everybody.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to Altheya the Dragon Empire. Our heroes in Ashen Rest have been mourning the loss of Sister Ophelia de la Rosa of the House of Blood. They have made arrangements, taken her body back to the Enticing Devil Inn, as well as tried to gather information on what may have happened. They have been approached by the Lord Marshal of the Duke's Guard, as well as High Authority Eramina Willathorn, as well as the Draconic Lord himself, Duke Ignarius, who has come to offer his condolences, as well as his outrage that such an attack has taken place, and has levied his support behind our heroes. Meanwhile, in the planar realm of the Greylands, Ophelia appears before the Grave Father, her deity and the lord of that planar realm, and has been offered a chance. If she can make her way to a temple far across the Greylands wasteland, then she might be able to return to life if she can prove herself worthy and having understood the lessons that the Grave Father wishes to teach her. And that is where we sort of jump back in. I will be basically treating it as if the party is split in two different locations, where I'll be jumping back and forth between you.
Okay.
Obviously, your actions in the material world can't do anything to help Ophelia, with two exceptions.
Right.
Ophelia, as the Grave Father leaves, dressed in these rags, and you begin to make your way across the dusty plains of the Greylands, you feel not hunger or thirst, but almost satiated. And like the taste of blood comes to your mouth, and you feel strength there. Because Gruffith fed you blood, significant amount of it as well, during your travels here in the Greylands, you have +3 to any strength checks you make, and also +3 to any attack rolls that you make.
+3.
I bled a lot.
You bled a lot.
+1 for every 10 hit points that were fed to
Wow.
Ophelia.
Okay, yeah.
The other thing that
Realize
you
you spent that
have,
much.
the other thing as you are making your way, is you begin to hear a melody. Gentle, in your heart, vibrations of some song that you absolutely recognize as Rowan's. You have basically a sort of souped up bardic inspiration where you can re-roll a check. Like at any point after you've seen the result, you get a free re-roll, basically.
Awesome.
Because of the performance check that Rowan made.
Oh, that feels a feeling of like determination. I imagine that carries her forward with more vigor and more speed than before.
Yeah. You also carry with you the breath of the Father, your sort of Dark Souls Estus flask, if you want to feel of it that way. You can take a long rest in the Greylands. You don't regain hit points. If you do get other abilities back. You get hit dice back and that kind of thing. There are 12 charges. You can take a charge to basically feed yourself and sustain yourself as if you'd drunk food and water, or you can use it to spend a hit dice and heal yourself, basically. It's all on the card, spend section, but it is a once you've run out of charges, there are no more charges. It's a once it's gone, it's gone. All right?
Cool.
This is cool as hell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Well, this is very specific to Ophelia because of the nature of the Grave Father and the Greylands and everything else.
I believe.
I'm not promising that everybody who dies will get the same treatment. It will depend on the character and the circumstances.
That's my god.
So let's stay with Ophelia for a little bit, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah,
Obviously,
go for
you just
it.
need to sit there and listen. But yeah, Ophelia, you set out making your way across the Greylands. The way this is going to work is we're going to break it down into like travel segments to represent, an abstract period of time, right? And you will need to navigate this dangerous undead wasteland. You have no equipment. Any of your armor, make sure you've unequipped any weapons or equipment that you have. You have nothing. You have racks, basically.
Nice.
But that isn't to say that you're not going to be able to find stuff or even maybe, fashion things that you'll be able to use here. But the first thing I need you to do is roll 1d4 for me, please.
4. Should I do a d6 as well?
No, just a d4 for now.
Okay.
Let's see what kind of terrain you have to deal with. Because,
blind for me.
like most planar realms, there is a kind of shifting nature to this place. 2. So you set out on your way, and you begin to trek through this vast, dusty plain. And as you begin to travel, what you initially thought was just a flat horizontal plain, you realize that because of the monochrome nature of the Greylands, you didn't notice that there's actually drops and rises in elevation, and there are these immense dunes that just become this grey field. I need you to make an athletics check. Now, don't forget, this would count for your +3 strength bonus from Rowan, so you get an extra +3 to this. As you are physically having to, trudge up and down these dunes.
19.
19, alrighty. So as you are trudging your way through these dunes, and it's not sand, it's grit and dust. But it's, trudging through it like sand, and it's physically exhausting going up and down these places. But you do come across, as you're making your way up one of them, and you're making good progress, you're not getting too tired, and as you reach the zenith of one of them, you kind of scope out the landscape and you make pretty good time. But you also notice that there is something buried, like your foot kind of connects with something, and there's something buried in the ground next to you.
Ree wants to dig it up. I think Ophelia's gonna leave it.
Okay.
I think she's gonna carry on.
All right, you just carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you press on rather than spending time digging this thing up and you don't know what it might be. You felt that something was there, but you just leave it and you just carry
No deviation,
on. Okay, you just carry straight on. As you do, can you make a perception check for me, please?
Okay. 19.
18, 19, great stuff. So you do have to spend one charge of your Breath of the Father as you travel for what feels like to you hours and hours up and down these dunes. And you know that you are getting closer to these ruins and the mountains beyond, but you travel what feels like most of a day, just nothing. Just up, down, long stretches of flat, and then more up, down. And as there's no sun, there's no anything to track time, just the ongoing trudge.
Yeah.
But as you do, a movement up above you catches your eye, and you become aware that you are being followed by 3 skeletal vultures, their wings having enough sinew and membrane to keep them aloft in the air, and they are circling around you, waiting. You are aware of them, but they don't seem to be aware that you know that they're there yet. They're kind of almost following you and waiting for you to collapse or being some sort of danger, but you are aware of them at least.
Okay. Can I talk to them?
I mean, they're flying high up above you. They're, several hundred, maybe a sort of 80 feet above you, flying up in the air.
Can I shout to them?
Yeah.
Just say something like, skeletal vultures, you foul beasts! Could you be of any use at all rather than hovering above me like some kind of spectre of death? Can you help me find a way out of this, a clear path?
Okay. You call all this out. You shout up into the nothing. Ah! they dive bomb down towards you.
Yeah.
I need you to roll initiative, Bree.
Deserved.
Oh boy.
I do like that your opening thing was to insult them.
Yeah.
Like, oi, prick.
You're kind of negging them.
You big jerk. Do something better. It's like how I talk.
So Ophelia, these 3 vultures, they're big, they're vulture size. They're not giant, they're not huge, but they are, big, quite scary birds. They fly down, and the 3 of them as a pack just try and, they bite into you, hungry for flesh or life force or whatever it is. They don't speak to you, they just like mindless beasts, and you can immediately tell that these are just mindless creations that are here to feed. They are not, cognizant enough to really respect the words that you've said or anything like that. But yeah, they're just going to all attack you.
Fair enough.
Fair play, geese.
So let me roll. So the first one is going to be an 11 to hit you.
Miss.
So, yep, great. With your natural dexterity, you managed to dodge it. The next one is also going to be a miss. And then the third one is also a miss. So you're managing to like deflect. Like these things, they're just attacking with bestial ferocity. There's not really much planned. You, even in your rags, you duck and weave to the side. But I'm going to remind you, you don't have any weapons. Like, any physical equipment you have is gone. But it's your turn. You've got 3 of these things. They don't fly away. They're kind of hovering around you, trying to peck with their beaks and rake at you with their claws. What do you do?
She's gonna bite him back.
Okay. Just, like, grab one and try and, like,
Yeah, the
bite
neck.
into it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Playing that game, are we? 10, 13.
13 hits.
Hell yeah, let's go. Come back. Oh, 3.
3 points of damage.
Such a classic read.
You grab one and you bite into it and you kind of shatter some of its like leg bone and things like that. It manages to break itself free, but it's now awkwardly flapping in the air, barely held together. Its bones kind of all disjointed and things like that.
Nice.
As they try and get around you. Do you do anything else on your turn, or just that's it? Just grab one and bite.
Grab one and just threaten them. That will happen to you if you don't leave me alone.
They double down on their attacks. They try and swoop around. The one that you bit is going to try and fly away.
Okay.
So you get an opportunity attack if you want. Like
Yeah.
it's injured, so it would just try and flee.
21.
21 hits, yeah.
6.
6. As it goes to fly away, you just grab it and at its like vertebrae with your teeth, you bite down and shatter its like bone spine, the sharp
Hell yeah.
incisors of your Dampier teeth, and you crack it. That one falls to the ground dead.
Nice.
But the other 2 are going to keep attacking you. The first one's actually going to hit you with a 19, I believe
Yeah.
that's going to hit. The second one, however, is going to be also a 19, so they both hit
Yeah.
you. You're not raging yet, so you're taking full damage. So that's going to be 5 points of damage total as they basically peck and claw and scrabble at you. But you've taken 1 down.
Nice.
What do you? These things are, just absolutely going at you as best they can.
Cool. Let's see. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, this is done. Why is my D&D Beyond doing this? Hang on. It's like my keyboard's being all silly. Come back.
It's all right.
Come back.
Come back, please. Come back.
Keeps like,
Yeah, it's not.
there we go. Okay.
I
this
can
was
keep
really
track of
laggy.
stuff
It's
as
cool.
well.
All right, I'm just gonna keep hitting.
Yeah, I mean, these things are just attacking you like beasts.
Oh, it's in that one.
So yeah, this time like you slip in the dust and you slide, and the nature of it, you just go sliding down, completely avoiding, and then these things just come and swarm around you again.
Can I grab the body of the dead one
Yeah,
and use it? It's just like a
Here we go.
yeah. So I'd say for this, it's like an improvised weapon. It will do
yeah.
just like a D4 of damage, but you'll have disadvantage because it's just like a bone to attack with.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just attack with it as if it was a melee weapon.
Yeah.
The first one is going to hit you again, and the second one is also going to hit you again.
nice.
For another 3 points of damage total. As these things are just like trying to tear and peck you. You know, you've got rakes down your skin, pulling away whatever they can find.
I'll teach you a lesson, you filthy birds. 23.
23 will hit.
And it's another 6 damage.
6 damage. You take out another one of these vultures. With the club, you just bash one in the head, and it just snaps and falls into the dust next to you. There's only one of these things left now. It is going to try and strike you because it's an animal. It doesn't, it's just going to try and take you down. That is going to be a 14 to hit.
Just hits.
Just hits. 4 points of piercing damage as it bites into your shoulder.
Really pissed.
This is such old man yells at cloud energy.
23 again? What-
23 hits.
And that is 3 damage.
3 points of damage. Alrighty. It, like the other one, it's now badly injured and it tries to fly away. You get an opportunity attack.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh my god. 21, 22, 25.
Yeah, it hits.
Wow.
And another 3 points of damage.
So as it goes to fly away, you know, how do you finish this thing off as it goes to fly away? It's kind of got like, it's skeletal, but it has like enough like membrane and sinew to like simulate wings, basically.
Yeah, I just pull it, like, I get its legs, pull it back, and I just throw it on the ground.
Yeah, you throw it on the ground, and as it hits the dust, you like stamp on it, shatters it. The 3 of these creatures, yeah, you destroy them. They don't reanimate or anything like that. You do see that they leave behind like a lot of bones and sinew, right? Each of these vultures, so 3 of them, they drop bones and sinew.
Cool.
So you have 3 bones and 3 sinew. These are resources that whenever you do rest, you can try and fashion into tools or weapons or armor.
This is dope.
So, you know, they would be crude, but they will have full stats. So, you know, you'll be able to make things like, you know, a short sword, like a, you know, a bone dagger or something like that. So you'll be able to like increase your damage a little bit. If you wanted to, you could try and make things like a shield, but you're probably not going to be able to do that with just bones and sinew. You might need to find like some wood or, you know, piece of metal or something like that to make like a rudimentary shield. So you'll be able to like make equipment as you go, but there's always a chance that it breaks. So whenever you make an attack with something or if something hits you, we're going to roll a d6, and on a 1, that object breaks because it's made ramshackle together, right? So that's whenever you take like a moment's rest, you'll have that opportunity to try and function and build something.
That's awesome.
Great. Right, just before we switch back over to the others, can you roll a d4 for me and then another d4 for me?
Alrighty, first one is a 1.
Okay.
Second one is also a 1.
Okay, great.
Sounds good.
All right, so the last thing we see is you continue back on your way as you begin traveling, and you see in the distance, you come across the dust plains of the Greylands flatten out, but you watch as in the distance you see a kind of covered up skeletal, like sort of just wandering aimless, like this skeleton that's just wandering aimlessly. And as it moves over a patch of ever so slightly discolored dust, it drops into some sort of sinkhole, like it collapses in on itself.
Oh no.
And you can see that ahead of you, you're going to have to try and navigate this field of potential hazards and things like that in it, right?
Yeah.
But we'll jump back to you in a little bit as you continue your sort of solo journey across the Greylands.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sounds like a fun place to go.
I love that reaction. Oh, oh no.
As I was coming up with what was going to happen, I had Tommy in my heart because I was like, this is very Dark Souls. Like you're in rags and you've got to get to this place and you've got to just
Eventide Island from Breath of the Wild.
There you go.
Where it strips all your gear and you have to
God.
craft everything yourself. It reminds me a
Why'd
lot of
you have
that.
to bring that up right now?
My favourite place. I love that.
I bet you do.
But yeah, so that is happening. And I will say as well, obviously time in planes can be very different. So what for Ophelia might be days or even weeks of travel might not actually take that long in the material world.
Yeah.
You don't know. So don't assume that like, oh God, like she's not going to be...
We now have to fill weeks of time.
You don't have to worry about that.
She's on an adventure.
Yeah. But we do return back to the Enticing Devil. The Duke and Obsidius will take their leave. They fly back to the Dominus Ignarum. Lord Marshal Logan Gray will basically make to leave. If there was anything that you wanted to ask or speak to him about, you can. But he is about to leave and head back to the Forge to start coordinating things like these extra patrols that the Duke has asked for and everything else. High Authority Eramina looks like she's gonna stick around, maybe to talk to you guys.
Who was it who assigned like the guard patrol to us? Was it the Duke?
Duke.
Yeah, the Duke said like to have some protection, and that's when the Marshal said, I can't really spare anyone if you want me to patrol the city, like double the guards in the city.
Okay.
So I would suggest that maybe you have one of your knights, so they'll come and protect them.
Okay.
The best night.
Yeah. I guess
gruff.
I can ask the authority this. But so yeah,
Sure.
I've got nothing ready for Logan.
Yeah, in that case, he will just say, well, I will bid you farewell for now. I will, once we find out from the Duke, the Knight of the Realm, Sir Griot, should be here to protect you. I would send more of my soldiers and guards, but if the Duke wants me to patrol the city, I think they will be better suited at patrolling the streets in case any more of these attacks happen. Is there anything you can tell me to help identify which of the Everlights might be causing a problem? That will help me in my patrols. We can keep an eye on certain areas or districts or anything like that.
The only thing we know is that the main culprits have this disc inside them.
And any adjacent.
And
Right.
it's something to do with ley lines.
Yes, they might fall on the ley lines.
So you might want to take the lamps that we've investigated already or been attacked by and, I don't know, start drawing some bloody lines on it or something.
He sighs. He looks over to the High Authority like, this is more your realm than mine. I'm a soldier. And the Authority is like, the difficulty is, Gruffith, the Lamplighters Guild, they are the ones who have all of that information, the exact layout of these ley lines and such. And also, as far as I could be able to tell from your own investigations, there are no way to find these discs without damaging the lights themselves. Now, and I should tell you this now, she looks. Who destroyed the lights? She, nods her head. Technically, that was a crime. They are private property of the Lamplighters Guild.
Okay, but they were also trying to kill us.
I understand.
Self-defense! Self-defense!
I tell you what else is a crime. The bloody murder of Sister Ophelia de la Rosa, House of Blood.
Here is the problem, Sir Gruffith. Gruffith of Tremere, she won't call you Sir Gruffith. Here is the problem, Gruffith.
Not yet.
You were attacked by, your claim, demons. Demons cannot be held accountable for a murder, nor do we have any way to prove that they were sent specifically by the Lamplighters Guild. Yes, yes, very circumstantial evidence. They came out of the Everlights. Yes, we understand that. But you see what I'm saying? The demons attacked you. I cannot prove that the Guild or Tobias or anyone sent those creatures after you. I cannot hold anyone accountable for her murder. What I am saying is that I am going to conveniently forget that who destroyed these lights, and I'm going to impart upon the Lamplighters Guild that they should not press any further charges, for it may be difficult for the investigation.
I'd like to see him try it and do it again.
My advice would be, if you do it again, make sure you are not seen doing it.
Oh, okay.
We had, before this all transpired, a meal with Tobias where we learnt some information, and I will spill the beans as to how that transpired.
Well, I would like to hear it specifically from Rowan's perspective,
I
because
spilled some beans.
there's things like Tobias might have said stuff that you as a player didn't pick up on, and therefore your character wouldn't necessarily know about them, right? So in Rowan's perspective, role play it out, what are the things he would mention and bring up?
That's a handy thing that I wrote all this down.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be point for point, but if you think there are relevant things that the High Authority needs to know, you tell me about them in character, because again, it's there might be things that you didn't pick up on, but my notes are oh, there's this thing and this thing and this thing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we entered and we went up a magic-powered elevator, which I found very fanciful indeed. It was very well kept, and there was a stern-looking halfling that I've never met before, but we were introduced as Janya, the wife of Tobias.
I do not believe they are wives. They are partners, but partners in a business
I
sense.
put wife in my notes.
I don't believe that is the case.
Okay. She didn't like us very much. She suspected us as being part of this conspiracy.
Interesting.
Maybe to undermine the Lamplighters or working with the other guilds
that sort of thing. I remember the first course was quite delightful. I
don't need the details of the meal itself, my good man. Just anything you think is pertinent to this
Tobias
investigation.
is worried about his partner, Morris. He seems to put
Morris.
a lot of effort into telling us that Morris must be found and that he's disappeared and that it's very unlike him to have disappeared because he's always in his room, his chambers.
Interesting.
And he was also one of the ones that originally created this technology.
And he asked us to basically go look for him.
Did he give you any indication of where he thinks Morris is?
South.
I don't remember the exact name, but I know it's the ruins south of Ashen's Rest.
The Ashen Citadel.
What's the name? Yeah, Ashen Citadel.
Ashen Citadel. That's... And you see that really seems to strike the High Authority. She's like, the Ashen Citadel is 4 days' journey from here. By the time you went there to look for Morris and come back, I mean, that would be a significant amount of time.
We were
Either that, or he said in a nearby
village.
town. But the thing is that I didn't get the impression that he was telling the full truth. And I don't know, but it seems like...
It would be awfully convenient to send you all out of Ashen's Rest for such a long period of time.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I've been doing some investigating myself since the attack in the Riverside district. The Lamplighters Guild have been almost too enthusiastic to help the investigation. They've been leading Zaron and the Duke's Guard on a little chase around the town investigating these Everlights, but through our examinations, without dismantling them, which legally we are not allowed to do yet, there is no way to tell the Everlights have this property that you've mentioned. However, Morris was not the only member to vanish. Several other experienced illuminators have also gone missing. None of them have been seen leaving Ashen Rest.
When did they go missing?
Around the same time as Morris. Some of them after, some of them
Right
around the
before
same time.
Incident, they said.
Yes.
The first one.
Some of them did vanish later. They were present for that incident, but by the time we got around to questioning them, they had vanished.
Were any of the ones that went missing suspects of yours in the...
That's the strange thing. No, it was almost, call it an old authority's habit, but I don't like it when things are too convenient. When we arrested Teresa and a few of the others, it was almost comedically obvious. We found books on demonology. We found books on planar experimentation. Found very obvious, and I must say quite easily planted evidence to suggest they were the ones involved. Some of them have remained silent and have simply refused to say anything. Some have protested their innocence, like Teresa, but we have not been able to find anything conclusive. These other illuminators, there was no indication that they were involved in anything, and certainly no evidence found in their quarters or the like, but their disappearance obviously is very suspicious. They all were part of Morris's chief team. They were experienced illuminators, people that worked with Morris exclusively on new designs, new projects, that sort of thing.
But none left the city?
None have been seen leaving the city.
It did look like they had packed in a hurry when we saw the room. Rowan, you said that stuff looked like it'd been taken.
Yes, there was. You had already investigated these chambers.
Yes,
but
we had, yes.
I saw nothing else.
No, I didn't find anything either. Which leads me to believe that if they are still here, they have found somewhere to hide.
Maybe they sent demons after them through the lights.
Possible, but we've not had any other attacks. I mean, the attack on you, we had citizens run to the nearest guard post and inform them what was happening. I mean, that was a very bold public attack. If I may be honest, if it were Tobias who orchestrated it, it was a clumsy move for a man who is otherwise proven to be quite clever and subtle.
It would be easier for us to depart town on a a goose chase to find someone to the south for 4 days and dispatch us there.
It would leave you, in my point, indeed, you would be very vulnerable if you were outside of the town.
I don't know what's going on. My friend is dead.
Yes, yes. And we must make sure that justice is found. But it is my duty to make sure that Imperial law is followed appropriately. As much as my gut tells me that there is more to this than the few cultists we rounded up at the Lamplighters Guild, I have nothing to prove it. And without proof, I cannot make a case. I cannot make a legal case. I could potentially be removed from my role as High Authority if I do not properly handle this matter. The investigation will be judged by my superiors in Calscaris.
What do we do?
I think we need to find Morris and these missing engineers. They seem to be a part of this. Either they are victims or they are involved in this conspiracy. But also, I am yet to determine what motives a man like Tobias Leto or a woman like Janya Cooper could have for this involvement. I don't see what they gain from it. I don't see a reason for them to take these actions. Both pious, both faithful servants of the Empire who have built an incredible career and legacy. They have so much to risk.
They seem quite conflicted with each other, though. Janya didn't fully agree with Tobias, and vice versa. Maybe we haven't really spoken to Janya.
That could be an interesting option for you to pursue. I will set a few of my people to see if they can speak to her or follow her or see if anything can come of it. We're watching the Pharos like a hawk, but so far nothing.
It might change her opinion of us, that we were attacked.
Perhaps.
She was quite accusatory before.
Really didn't like her.
No, I didn't like her. We could try and speak to her. Would you be able to grant us access to the walls to maybe investigate the?
They are open to the public. I mean,
okay.
You can make your way up there, yes. Do you think that there's something... Why the walls? Why the interest in the walls?
The lamps?
Giant lights up there?
Maybe if someone could, as you said, turn a blind eye while we...
She looks, is like, I have my suspicions on the guild. I would ask that you all do your best to act within it. My limitations can only go so far. I can deal with a few broken Everlights.
Understood.
Those, and she points up at the wall, those are much more problematic.
Well,
Unless you have...
like them, we just wanted to look at them.
Looking is fine. Investigate by all means. Should anything happen, it will be much harder for me to support you.
Understood. As for...
Do you have any other allies here in Ashen Rest that you can look to for aid?
Well, we do have a particular idea on how to search for these defective lights without having to smash them or investigate them, but unfortunately it requires a particular metal that would be extremely difficult to procure.
What metal?
Ferrite.
Yeah, she takes a big inhale of breath.
Yes.
Yes,
So
that
it's
will
not
be...
very easy to find.
No, in fact, in possession of it is quite illegal. Unfortunately, we'll need to look for another way.
But using that metal, we might be able to create a device that allows us to track down the sigils and the runes that are breaking these lights.
Sadly, Fellite is forbidden. It is an illegal commodity in the Empire. It is, obtaining it would be a crime of itself. We will continue to monitor the Lamplighters Guild, see if we notice anyone coming or going. We will keep a lock. The gates are being heavily monitored. Everyone coming in and out of Ashen Rest is being heavily questioned and monitored at this point, searched. We have people checking for invisibility and illusions and magical means of escape and the like.
What about basements, hidden rooms within the Lamplighters, within Pharos?
We searched the Pharos and couldn't find any there, although there is a high chance that my people and I missed something, as you did. It's possible. Perhaps the nearby area, perhaps somewhere close by or somewhere else that this Morris frequently visited might have a place to hide. I don't know. I don't know. Unfortunately, the man, I know very little about this Morris gold site. Even searching his chambers did not throw up too much. Not one that I've kept a close dossier on, I'm afraid. Well, it is getting late. I am sorry about Ophelia, Sister Ophelia.
Delarosa of the House of Blood.
Indeed. I am sorry. Let us make sure that her death is not in vain. Whatever is happening here, it is clearly far greater than I think you or I first thought of. It poses a threat. Today it was you being attacked, but tomorrow, the day after, next week, who knows? This is why it confounds me that we do not yet know the motive behind this. Cultists of this nature, those who meddle with planar powers, they want something. They need something. They are being compelled for something. I cannot fathom what that is. And until we know it, we'll be a step behind. But try and rest. We'll pick this up in the morning.
Thank you for your assistance and your quick response.
I wish it had been quicker. Good night. And with that, this little halfling lady just makes her way back, middle of the night, just tootles down the road, makes her way back to the forge.
She got no, like, guards with her.
Doesn't have any guards with her or anything.
Doesn't need him.
Maybe.
Reputation is enough.
She just stood up to.
Yeah.
The Duke, yes. She has two guards, fucking A and fucking B.
Yeah. I mean, I think for, like, Xanthias especially, because you're a bit more involved in sort of your knowledge of the world, and maybe Gruff as well with his interest in knights and things like that as well. High Authoriter, like an Authoriter, is one of the few positions in the world that can stand up to a dragon like that. It's not always very wise, because some dragons will take it very personally and then get their own authorities to come and challenge them and ruin the reputation of people that have insulted them and things like that. But by the Empress's law, when it was first laid down at the foundation of the Empire, authorities do have the right to hold dragons accountable. Like, there are laws that protect more like non-dragons against draconic influence. Because if you didn't, if a dragon had, like, say, a personal grudge against a merchant or a guild and just was like, well, I'm just going to destroy their house, there needs to be a legal protection for the people to say, well, actually, you can't do that.
Bruh, not cool.
And so the guild, obviously, the Lamplighters Guild, obviously have that where they've, they own their land, they own their property, and the Duke's given them permission to operate these lights. So now he's kind of caught in a catch-22 where if he damages them, he's the one breaking the law, or anybody who is. So yeah, they're one of the few people that can actually stand up to a dragon noble. Is an authority.
Still cool when they do it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And it takes balls to, it's brave to do that, because, like I said, if the Duke had taken that as a personal insult, he could basically make her life a living hell and, like, get her reputation tarnished and...
Incinerate her.
Yeah.
Well, that, again, he would then be committing a crime, but there are subtle ways to do things, do you know what I mean?
I raised my arms when I said fucking A and fucking B. I actually meant left ball, right ball. He has balls.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe. We're very inclusive here. It's fine. She could absolutely have it. With that, are you all going to try and rest, or would you like to try and do anything else? It is very late.
Probably rest, I guess.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
boyos, you know what happens if you rest.
Oh, yeah.
well, I mean, what else are we going to do this late?
I'm sure that Blackwing is up all night.
We could head over.
I did receive instructions from Sansor Ilkara.
Oh, good. And what did they have to say?
A quest was given.
What does that mean?
Well, to be granted with a reprieve from the curse, you have to prove your dedication to Pyrrhus. It's a prayer to Pyrrhus to lift the curse.
Seems easy.
I think.
We have to go to across the hills, across the Ruby River, and find a creature bathed in gold light and burning with an inner fire.
Kill it, burn the body until nothing is left. Scatter the ashes at dawn's light and say a prayer to Pyrrhus.
Do we have to do that each?
I suppose both of you just killing the one creature is fine.
Well,
I think we'll find that to be quite impossible. A creature like that?
I think normally, were we and I, well, we could have done it. But not now.
We have the Duke's blessing to go see the Blackwing. We should probably do that now.
What time is it right now?
Like midnight, 1 a.m.
Ah, a latte fund's not open. Gonna dose up on caffeine first and just
Unless-
pull an all-nighter.
You bought what, coffee beans?
Huh?
I'll get us a brew going.
Where the bloody hell you get all that platinum from?
I took it off the table from Tobias.
Did he know?
Yeah,
Okay.
He offered it to
I didn't.
us.
Right.
I would never steal.
I
Right.
made a suggestion to... Well, I thought it might be a good idea not to take that money from the Lamplighters Guild, just in case. I was being overly cautious, perhaps, but... I mean, we have the money now. But either way, we don't need it to relieve this curse. Blackwing will help us, thanks to the Duke.
Well, they might need money for
Well, yes.
materials to do that.
They
That's-
need refined silver.
We haven't spoken to Blackwing
Well,
yet.
the
We don't
baths
know what
do.
they
We don't know what Blackwing
Okay.
needs yet.
I'm going to interrupt here because we're going to
Meanwhile,
scene.
Well, we're going to head over to Blackwing, I think, right?
Well, maybe you will. Maybe
Okay.
something else is
We're
going
thinking of doing that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
Gruff
know.
is preparing to frog march the two of them over to Blackwing.
Meanwhile, in the Greylands, Ophelia. So you see this plain field, you've seen this skeleton fall into this sinkhole, and now you're looking at it. You've closed the distance, those ruins are getting closer. Maybe I would say that if you get past this like field, you'll be in sort of close range of those ruins, and then from there you can then start making your way to the mountains, right? But I need you to make a perception check, please,
Okey-dokey.
to navigate this field. See if you can spot these sinkholes before they collapse under you.
Natural 20, baby.
Natural
my
20.
God.
Wow.
So I'd say with a natural 20,
Mario 64 triple jump.
Why are you the way that you are?
you not only navigate this field of these sinkholes, right? You quickly learn the slightest discoloration. You begin to see the pattern of where these sinkholes are, and it looks like some sort of tunnel network, and then something has maybe made these traps for this area. And you spy as you're traveling through it and you're making your way, you actually spy in the distance these zombie-like creatures. You've never seen a creature like this before. It walks like a person, but it's clearly insectoid. It's covered in this thick carapace armor, but it's clearly dead. Pieces of it kind of falling off, parts of its chitin ripped open and bloody wounds, but it's become some sort of zombie creature. And there's 2 or 3 of them. And there's a risk that you might have to engage them, but you can actually lure them into these like sinkholes. You basically, as soon as these creatures detect you, they come charging. You use one of these sinkholes, and it causes it to collapse, and they all fall in. And they get crunched. There's like heavy rocks at the bottom, like natural thick stone slates. And they slam into them and get impaled. And when you're looking down, you spy within the sinkhole more of these tunnels connecting it, but you actually spy something metal and glittering. And looking down, you can see that there are a few skeletal remains in there. All of their like marrows and body has been stripped completely, blasted clean. But there is like a large piece of maybe what was a piece of metal armor, and it's still glinting and shining down there. And you can also see some like scraps of like leather and like maybe an old leather bag that's not been fully deteriorated yet. And you can see these resources down in the sinkhole, which you can make your way safely down to and grab if you want
Cool,
to.
yeah. I was thinking, because after the last encounter, I would have had some blood fury points.
Yeah. You can. Well, you didn't rage, so you only gain blood free whilst you're raging.
Oh, while I'm raging. Oh, never mind then. Okay.
So.
I was thinking, could I craft like a bone spear, and then like use the spear to like try and fish these items out of the sinkhole?
Yeah, I would say absolutely you can try and do that. What that would mean is whilst you're in this field, you're going to take your moment of rest.
Yeah.
So that is another charge of your father's breath where you have to, you're spending time sustaining yourself. But what that means is you can attempt to craft, like a bone spear. And you can even use the sinew to like add like a kind of like line to it. So you throw it and then reel it back in and stuff, right? So what this is you need to make an intelligence roll. So it's just D20 plus your intelligence, and your crafting is mainly with like jewels and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you won't be able to add it to this one because you're crafting weapons, but so it's just D20 plus your intelligence.
Can I use my bardic inspiration for this?
Yeah, well, it was a free re-roll that you got for that, but you could spend, in fact, we haven't done your roll yet, you could spend a point of fate.
A 3.
A 3, so that is a point for me. But you've got 4 fate points. You can spend them just as much as everyone else can.
Yeah,
Would you like to add one to add a point of fate to your roll, so you get an extra d6?
Thank you. Oh, I needed it. And that one, 5, 7.
7. So unfortunately, like one of those bones and one of those sinew that you recovered, you spend a few hours trying to fashion this bone spear, but without anything else, it's really hard to try and craft. And you just put too much pressure and it snaps in half and it ruins what you've been making, unfortunately.
Tantrum.
Yeah, you can still make, but you will just have to go down into down into the sinkhole to get that stuff, which you think you can do.
Yeah, she'll give it a try.
You just don't know what else is down there.
Yeah, she'll give it a try.
All right. You make your way down there, kind of sliding down the soft dust. You make your way down amongst these heavy rocks and now these corpses of these insectoid-like creatures. And you find the skeleton and you go and you get the leather satchel, you pull that off. There's like half-tattered, probably not useful as a bag, but could be cut into strips. So you do gain a leather resource as well. So you have bone, sinew, leather. The piece of metal, though, as you go to pull it, it's stuck. What I need from you is a strength check to try and pull that free.
Okay.
So you do get a +3 from Rowan's, from Gruff's blood.
Cool. 22.
22. Easily pull it free. No problem. Don't make any noise. You just pull it free, and you've got it now.
Nice.
So you add a piece of metal to your thing as well. So you have one like large piece of metal. You've got some leather, bones, and sinew.
Awesome.
And you make your way back up to the top, and you carry on. You continue on your journey.
Nice.
As you begin approaching the ruins, you see moving amongst the ruins. And this is at a distance, right? You're seeing this, so you've got a bit of time to prepare and stuff if you wanted to. This must have once been a vast city. And you are now in its blasted, ruined state. Most of it's buried beneath the dust of the Greylands. The tops of the buildings now forming these bones of a civilization that you don't recognize. This place looks completely alien to you. And as you begin making your way through the ruins, you become aware that up ahead, sort of in amongst maybe what was once like a large courtyard with all buildings on different sides and things like that, there are 4 skeletons.
Okay.
2 with bows, like ragged kind of makeshift bows, and 2 with short swords. And unlike Percival and the skeletons that you are used to, these skeletons are not talking, but are moving like living people would. One of them's like picking up rocks and like throwing them against like small, like it's playing a game with another one. The 2 with the short swords, they're like almost playing like a game of like marbles or like some sort of darts or something like that, where they're picking up these little rocks and throwing them to hit other rocks. One of the ones with the bow is just sat on top of like a building and it's swinging its legs. And then another one with the bow is patrolling, and it's like actually kind of like looking around, patrolling around the outskirts of where they are. They haven't seen you yet, but if you want to get closer or if you want to move around them, that would probably be a skill check. But you can see them just kind of hanging around.
Oh, man.
Can you make a religion check for me?
Of course.
See what you might know about this.
Stop rolling one.
Nat one.
Nat one. The only thing I'd say is that you would know that these creatures are called the untethered, and they are basically undead that have escaped their service to whatever lord or the Grave Father or whatever. They're like they're rogue undead. They're like undead that have escaped and they're like deserters basically, and they're condemned to these wastelands.
I want to go talk to them. They seem chill. But are they chill?
You could also, if you wanted to, like I said, they've not spotted you yet. You
Yeah.
could duck into cover and try and like craft more stuff,
Yeah.
or like do whatever you want, make any preparations you want. You could try and sneak around them.
True.
There's whatever you can think of, imagine wise, you can do.
Yeah, I will do another rest and bolster myself up.
Okay.
Can I spend a hit dice as a bonus action, try and regain some health?
Yeah. So yep, that would be the use of your father's breath. So your hit dice is a D12, right?
I think it's a D10.
For barbarian, it should be D12, I think. I'm almost certain it is.
It was for Ayla.
Yeah.
That is a D12,
Yeah.
yes.
So you don't need to roll. You just get 12 hit points back
12.
when
Oh,
you do
nice.
it. Yeah. The nature of the father's breath. And that is like you uncork this crystal thing, and when it's almost like drinking. Like you're almost drinking this vapor, and then you stopper it. And you've spent 4 charges of that now, I think.
3 are now.
3 now. So yeah, it's
12?
12. Yeah. So it's about
Yeah.
a third depleted. But yeah, you take a moment to rest. You heal yourself a little bit.
Can I try and craft some armor with like the leather and some of the...
Yeah. Do you want to make armor or do you want to make a shield?
Ooh.
Shield will give you +2 to your AC. Armor will give you like a base AC, and then you add your dex on top of it.
Let's do armor.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So like some sort of like fashioned together breastplate of bones and metal and leather. Yeah, very cool. All right, so this is going to be the same thing. It is an intelligence roll. You can add a fate dice if you would like.
I'll leave it for now.
Okay.
Save them intelligence this
Watch this drive.
one.
Fortunately, these bad rolls. Yeah, so for that, the metal armor, you try and like use the flat end of a bone to like try and shape it into place, and you just split the metal, and it like breaks into 2 smaller pieces. The bone is shattered as you try and do it. So the metal, unfortunately, you lose, and you lose 1 bone resource as well.
No, one
So-
bone.
Yeah, you waste the resource, unfortunately.
A bone.
Shame because you actually have a +2 to your intelligence.
I
It's
know,
not like it's just bad rolls.
Bone down.
Gosh,
Yeah.
what a thing.
All right. I think because of that, I think she's going to go sneaky because she's not got any armor.
Sure.
She's going to try and sneak around the skelly boys.
Okay. So I'm gonna need a stealth check
Stealth
opposed
check.
by my perception check.
They've got no eyes.
11.
Magic sense. 11. You start making your way, and this isn't going to be like a 1 stealth check thing. You move in, and that one skeleton who's patrolling, you wait for him to move out of range, and you begin sneaking your way into a side street. You begin making your way, and you've avoided them for now. You come across to a joint, but you have to cross the plaza, and one of the other ones who's playing the rock game might see you. So as you kind of move to the side, you're now like pressed up against the wall. You have to make a dash across this plaza to get to the other side. So that'll be another stealth check.
Okie dokie. 20.
20. You wait, you give it a beat. He goes to take his turn. He throws, and then as he goes to pick it up and then return back to his friend who's not paying attention, you dash across the plaza, making the soft dust beneath your feet, bare feet, no noise. You make your way. You get across the other side.
Nice.
And yeah, you're free to continue on if you want.
Yeah, I'll continue on.
Okay, alrighty. You continue making your journey across the Grey Lands. I need another D4 roll from you, please.
Okay. 2.
Another 2, so that would then drop to that. As you are making your way, with the ruins behind you, you kind of continue on through the rest of this ruined city, and you don't really encounter anything else. But as you get to the other side, you can now see, once again, these vast, endless, like, dunes and plains before these mountains. And as you are crossing, a wind begins to build up. And then suddenly you find yourself blinded by a storm of dust as the wind has picked it all up into a dust storm. I need a survival roll from you.
Cool. Got a -1, so that's 11.
An 11. Okay. You unfortunately get lost. The dust kind of turns you around and you stumble around for you what feels like maybe days. And you just spend a resource from your flask to keep yourself going.
Okay.
And then actually it would be 2 resources. Sorry, my apologies.
No worries.
So you're down 2 of those resources, and you unfortunately like waste time being lost and turned around by these dusts. But as you are making your way through, you come across something. You are making your way through the dust, completely blinding you almost, and it's because of that dust that as you're moving through, something on the floor glints with like a red light. And as you're kind of pushing your way through, you know, it's in your path. What do you do? It's almost like a piece of glass, like red glass.
Does it look familiar?
Yes.
Yeah, Ophelia will move forward towards it.
Move your way closer towards it, and you bend down and see that in the dust is a broken crown of Sanguinite, the blood jewel of Osseous. And this thing's broken into a dozen pieces. What'd you do?
Ophelia will put it in her leather bag.
When you touch it, that first big piece, because it's broken into several pieces scattered around in the dust, when you touch it, it's like a vision flashes in your mind. And you are this powerful vampire queen at the head of an army. Yes. And you raise a finger and point to some village, and you just watch as the hordes march on, and you begin to see the village burn. And as it does, you feel all the terror and the fear of the people, the living people, almost flows into you and it feeds you. This vampire, whoever you are, she didn't feed on blood. She fed on fear. And as you come out of that vision, that crown is gone. And you unlock your pact ability.
Yes!
Yes!
And for a moment, you close your eyes and you know you can feel something, but obviously we as an audience see it from an external perspective. As that red blood broken crystal crown appears over your head and your visage sort of almost flashes for a moment and then returns to normal. Going back to the team.
As in, wait, pact ability, as in.
I'm not. Going back to the team. As Gruffith, you begin to frog march Rowan and
Is that like a
Xanthias.
hop? What is that?
Yeah, what are we talking here?
You would
I wild shape
notice
into a frog.
Okay. Yep.
2 figures approaching. Coming from the direction as you were making, if you had come from where you were attacked, they are coming from that direction towards the inn. One of them is limping on a cane, and the other one is a tall, powerful figure.
Yep.
Nope. Don't want to see those guys.
Rowan's just pretending not to see them.
Xanthias, go back inside now.
Uh,
Now.
Okay. Yes, I'm heading in.
Okay, you head in. You watch as the figures of Sister Benedicta and Sister Malady, the Sister Inquisitors of the Ecliptic Order, make their way towards you. Malady coughs. Good evening. I'm told that you had an encounter earlier this evening. Word of it has spread around. We came as quickly as we could. Benedicta looks to you, Rowan and Gruff. Did you destroy them? Are there any more? The demons?
We disposed of every single one that attacked us.
She nods. Good. I'm only sad that I could not be there to join you. I'm sorry. I would have loved to have assisted you in defeating them.
It is not a good memory for us.
No, I imagine not. I heard that Sister Altheya was slain.
You heard correctly.
My sincere condolences to you. She seemed a woman of great faith, her own faith, of course. And it is always tragic to learn that the planar powers have attacked our realm. I thought to offer what assistance we could, but I also have questions about this incident. Why did you not tell me before that you had encountered demonic forces here in Ashen Rest when last we met?
Well, you didn't ask me much.
We didn't know. I would have thought that the appearance of two members of the Ecliptic Order, sworn enemies of the Planar Realms, we could have been great allies to you.
With great respect, you didn't seem to have much interest in talking to me and Rowan. But also, we assumed that you knew from the other authorities.
No, the incident, I believe, in the Riverside district, it only happened after you arrived here, yes? We only knew of the matters of Burnell.
A lot has happened in a very short period of time.
Indeed.
And sisters, with the greatest of respect, when you first met us, you had a lot of questions, and you didn't leave a lot of time for us to answer.
Very fair, very fair. It is the nature of an Inquisitor to ask questions, not to be asked. Well, we are here now. You're the enemies of the material world seem to be your enemies. She does glance towards the inn when she says that.
I crouch down, looking through the window.
Is Lord Oregon and Daisy not joining us?
They're tired.
Yes, it is quite late.
Can we reconvene? It's been a day.
It has. I would very much like to hear more about these demons and what they are connected to. Why did they attack you?
I wish we could answer that question, but we don't know ourselves.
But you have... This was random. There's nothing you are involved in that would lead them to attack you.
They seem to be rather angry that we attacked their kin. Well, their kin attacked us at the Riverside.
She, stares at you for a moment, Gruffith.
Gruff's telling the truth, but
He's keeping things back, though.
I think it's more that he's just tired and it's been a long day. It's not that he's necessarily lying.
He's not lying, but he's not revealing...
You know, when you get tired and you just don't remember stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
she'll look at you and say, no, I believe it'd be more than that. There must be something. It is... these creatures do not care for their kin in that way. They do not seek vengeance. They do not seek retribution. They would not care for the death of another. There must be something else. Why you? Why this place?
What was it that Daisy said in front of the Duke earlier? Something that they called you something. Because I arrived... Well, you were already in mid-fight when I arrived.
Called me something.
Or they said something, a name or something like that.
The phosphorus.
Phosphorus. Many demons and devils have titles and monikers that identify themselves. Likely the name of whatever greater being that they serve.
Well, according to Daisy, because I arrived late, they said the phosphorus wants you dead.
What about this incident in the Riverside? What was that about?
Oh, bloody hell. We were hired, or we took up a guild job to protect a lamplighter while she fixed broken lights, down by the Riverside. And when she was doing so, various other guild members from the Carpenters and Blacksmiths Guild trying to attack her to stop her from fixing the lights. And it all got a bit, scary for her. And something about her emotions drew a smoke demon from the light.
From the guild light?
Yes.
And do you think that this guild is connected to this attack on you?
Yes.
Interesting. Now we are getting somewhere. this guild, you think that they are involved in this demonic matter?
Yes, they are putting discs. Really, you should really go speak to the High Authority.
The High Authority has not been very receptive to my sister and I.
Right, I thought you were the same sort of bloody...
I do want to refine what Gruffith is saying. We don't accuse the entire guild.
I bloody do.
Gruffith does. But I do believe there may be innocent victims within the guild that have been manipulated, or there may be a corrupting essence within that's trying to do something nefarious without the guild's knowledge.
Yes, that rings true to how many of these insidious cults and planar creatures act. They corrupt and they corrupt others.
Do you want a seat? And Rowan takes a knee and just slaps his thigh.
She smiles. The Malady actually smiles like, well, that is a very kind offer for you, but no, I'm fine. No amount of sitting will help me. Perhaps a sit inside with some water would be most appreciated.
Oh, about that.
There's a ghost and she's gonna rip your head off if you go inside the inn.
I do not. I'm a spirit I can deal with.
We don't want to have to deal with the upset of the spirit that we've inhabited the home of. We've gained her respect, and we do not wish to anger her any further.
Benedicta is like, I could destroy the spirit for you.
No,
Very well.
she is a victim of a crime. We are going to get her justice.
Very good, very good. All right, then we will remain out here. Another question, and I will let you go eventually.
How does your chest feel? Not again.
I told you to get back inside!
Do you think that the local church has any involvement with the Lamplighters Guild?
Oh, that's a funny question. I was eating what was it? Bread at the time, I think. We had a meal with Tobias. Fascinating discussion. And he mentioned his involvement with the Sun Sword and how they have a very deep connection with each other, and that she basically treats him like a father figure. So it would be bad of me to make assumptions, however, that link with the Lamplighters Guild and the church is an interesting one for me that seems very deep.
Malady is like staring at you intently, Rowan, through this. Benedicta actually looks and she's like, Sister, you are not suggesting that a member of the church is involved in all this. You see Malady is just like, quiet, Benedicta. Like, just dismisses her. Like, really rudely. It's just like, be quiet. But there's not been any indication that she is involved with this demonic plot.
Absolutely
Not seen
no
anything of that.
evidence.
Just a connection between the guild master.
It was merely something I picked up, and I've got an associative memory with the smell of bread in that moment.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Question to Mark.
Lovely bread.
Yes?
Is Melody very intently staring at Rowan?
Yeah, but like in a way that like if you were making an insight check, you might kind of be looking at someone intently.
Kind of the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
When Rowan starts saying that,
Mm-hmm.
Gruff tenses and looks at him like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. In the same way that Benedicta kind of has that same reaction, like when Malady's asking the question, like there's this kind of like, it's very similar kind of thing, I imagine.
It's more on hearing that there is a connection
Oh, I see.
between
Okay.
Tobias and
Yeah.
Ilkara.
Yeah. Okay.
Or was that just clicking in
gotcha,
Gruff's
gotcha.
head?
Something's happening in Gruff's head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
And he-
thought I was being blasphemous and you're angry at me.
No.
This
the
is like the
mention,
connections
because
of
this is
stuff.
the first time he's heard this. He was
Yeah.
not at the dinner party.
Yeah.
He didn't meet up with you guys like when you did a sort of background check on
Investigation,
Tobias.
yeah.
This is the first time he has heard Tobias and Ilkara mentioned together.
Haven't had time to tell you. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, but there's something that happened when Gruff had his little nighttime sojourn in the church, right?
Oh, yeah.
Rowan is basically innocently stumbling his way into
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
information.
Yeah, and like you see that Melody's kind of taking it in, and she like nods and says,
He's
"Very
mostly focused
interesting."
on the bread.
Where are the two of you heading so late at night? It seemed that you were heading somewhere.
We're going to go see the elf in the tower.
An elf in the tower. I'm afraid I'm not too familiar with Ashenrest. And I
It's
said,
the tower.
They're called Blackwing. We need help with a curse.
a curse
Boy's cursed.
Yeah, we
by the demons.
no, the
By a
spirit.
ghost.
Hence why we don't want to anger her any further, and why it's midnight and we're being inquisited, and
Oh, no,
we're
no,
staying
no.
awake.
My dear big fellow, you're not being inquisitive. No, this is a friendly
your job, isn't it?
conversation. I'm asking a few questions, is all. No, it is.
Not very friendly questions.
Well, are they not? I have not
How are you?
said anything rude. I'm all right, as well as one can be when one is very ill, but
Sorry to bring it up.
this is all right.
Do you want some food?
No. But I perhaps could help you with your curse if this elf cannot.
You can.
Yes, I'm a powerful spellcaster myself. It is the nature of the Ecliptic Order to deal with these sorts of matters. We do not just go around asking questions, you know.
How?
We deal with possession, with curses, with maladies. We investigate magical relics.
What
that
about death? Can you save our friend?
Sadly not. That is a power far beyond me and many of my kind, but many of my order. Bringing someone back from the dead that is the purview of the gods and the saints and powers of beyond our mortal ken. I'm afraid that think of me as I am very talented with magic, but even my magic will not go that far. But a curse I can remove.
Two of us are cursed.
Who is the other? The girl or Xanthias?
Xanthias.
Well, allow me to offer my assistance. I would be happy to remove the curse from you.
Both of us?
Yes. It will leave me weakened for a few days, but it seems like whatever this demonic matter is, and she looks towards you, Gruff. I don't believe that. I think that you are looking into it, and you would like to see it resolved, yes?
Yes.
Then I would imagine that if I am not able to pursue my investigation for a few days, then it would be in good hands. So I'd be happy to. It is my duty to remove these curses of other powers, undead creatures, demonic creatures, elementals. Many such find themselves in these situations.
That would be very much appreciated if you can help Xanthias. We're in a strange neutral position, having entered Ashen's Rest so very recently, and not being tied with the authorities or the Duke or any other imperial law. We have the ability to act as freelancers, so to speak.
Yes,
And so helping us, I guess, would help the town.
indeed. And as I mentioned, I do not wish to see you suffer from some otherworldly power. That is very much why I became a Sister Inquisitor, to help others and to help people like yourself.
Oh, I thought it was mostly the questions.
You take our title too seriously, I think. But yes, I will need some things. Mundane things, not too expensive, but things that I will need for the ceremony, the ritual to perform.
Silvery powder?
No. I would need some fresh, pure water, not from the city well or river, something fresher and purer. Some silver needles. Some clear, you said that there's two of you are cursed, then 2 clear gemstones or glass objects. And finally, a copy of Sir Mortimer Graves' poem, Cometh the Raven. All found within the town, I'm sure.
Well, we were rather hoping that the curse could be lifted tonight because it seems to get worse when they sleep.
It would be difficult even if you were to find another spellcaster, I imagine, to remove it this night without preparations. Almost all of these spells require components or objects and things like that.
We can stay awake for one night, it's fine. I don't need no bell.
Right.
Is that what you say canonically?
You're welcome to try whatever sources. If you do not wish my help or my sister's, then that is fine. We understand. We are offering you this as a balm, as a favor.
Well, we're in the
I
market.
have made it quite clear to Xanthias that I am not his enemy. In fact, I am rather concerned with the young lord's future.
Can you make a promise
Oh, I very
and
much
not lie?
I have not lied to you yet.
I'm not suggesting you do, but if you were to remove his curse,
Yes.
you would not pry further and utilize that ritual to learn more information
She chokes
without
as she
his
laughs.
consent.
You have no fear of that, my tall friend. I know all I need to know about Xanthias.
Insight check, please.
Absolutely, make that insight roll.
Yeah, no, 10.
I'll do my deception or persuasion. You don't know. This seems like one of the realest people you've met. Kind of like even the High Authorita, you feel sometimes not necessarily lies, but her body language implies that she's maybe not telling you everything. She has her own agenda. This Malady, this sister Malady, you get a clean read off of her. She is being straight up.
It's such a reading of my role beat your role. This is the realest person.
So real.
You trust them with your
trust
life.
her.
That's it. That's what you got to roll.
Xanthias, get out here! Show her your chest!
It's my new best friend.
Yeah.
We thank you for your offer.
I thank you for your truth, your answers, and your information. Let me be clear, I am not your enemy. If you stand against the evil forces of the planar realms, if you seek to defend this empire and the innocent people within it, I am not your enemy. I am an ally and a friend. My methods may be different, but we seek the same goal.
Well, I'm glad. But if my friend gets hurt, I am not sorry for what I will do.
She smiles at you. A threat from a kind and generous man means far more than one from a wicked one. I appreciate that.
I've lost one today.
And if I may say, my boy, if you live a long time, it is likely you will lose more. But that is just the nature of life. You can see when you made that threat, Benedicta's hands she's gripping that sword tight, and she's watching you, Rowan, for the subtlest movement. Just ready.
No, there's literally nothing from Rowan.
No, but Melody's smiling. She's not
When
intimidated,
Rowan
but-
says that, it's
yeah.
not really a threat. It's
No.
so much that you could see the
promise.
welling of tears up in his eyes because
Yeah.
he's thinking about
Yeah.
he doesn't want to lose anyone else.
Yeah.
And if anyone gets in the way, he's basically being protective.
Yeah. She sees how genuine it is, and it's almost impressed. But she says, well, like you said, you have been questioned long enough. We merely wanted to ensure that there was no lingering issue. And also, if this problem with the guild involves demons, it is not one I can ignore. It is our duty to see an end to such threats. We will begin asking questions.
If I could ask my own question.
Please. I love questions.
Well, it's pretty mundane. It's where are you going to be tomorrow? Because the chances are I am going to come for you with the boys. And
My sister and I are staying at that very, what was the name of that charming place in the middle of town?
Grumpy Hog.
That is the one. We are staying there. Inquire for us. I will be likely up. I do not sleep much myself.
I'm sure we'll be seeing you once we gather all the components.
It should not be. They should be fairly easy to obtain. They should not be too expensive. It is just simply they are foci to use for the cleansing ritual that will be required. will.
Blessings be upon you, sisters.
Benedicta is like, saints and scions with you, Gruffith of Tremorrow. Malady just goes, and a good evening. And then the two of them head off.
And as Benedictus says that, Gruff's actually gonna kind of raise an eyebrow
Sure.
and just, I don't know, snort, and then just turn
Sure.
to go in.
All right. So yeah, Daisy and Xanthius, you could but totally have listened in at the door.
I was
and
listening in.
yeah,
I was peeping out the window.
Squeaking your head on
I had
the
my
clock.
peepers peeled.
Peeping.
Yeah, that's it.
That new
Hate it.
So,
Nice.
yeah, I was listening in. Yeah.
All right. So, do you still intend to go see Blackwing? Or do you want to try and rest? Or do you not going to... Is Xanthius and Ryan going to try and stay up? Like, what's the plan?
I mean, I guess Gruff would kind of, you know, reiterate the bit about the components and probably how this is probably the easiest thing, but frankly, I don't know if you really want her to touch you.
We can go to Blackwing if that's better.
To be fair, I guess you don't know this. Blackwing knows just as much as they do.
What about...
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
This is a... I need...
What? What is he now?
Something...
Something horrible? Is
We
it to do with maybe the arm thing that I'm sorry, I tried to ignore that, but I
Yeah.
just feel like we need to bring that up.
It's late. But I think it might be important.
Bedtime story?
God damn it. Oh, look at the time.
I think we're okay. No, all right. If you want to, we can end it here. But I'm happy to go a little bit. Okay, we can do another 5-10 minutes if you want.
We'll give it more space another time.
You really want to hear this now? Xanthius asks.
If you're in trouble, I would very much like to know.
I don't want my trouble to be
Too
your
late.
trouble.
Sit down.
We can always do donations next week.
Dude.
Do you want to do this another time? This is
Yeah,
him
that's,
asking.
that's I'm literally asking the same question.
Do you want to...
I wasn't prepped. I'll just put it that way.
Sure. Right,
I think
in
maybe
that
we could
case,
give more time to it. Like,
perhaps, well, because we could leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger if Xanthius wanted to maybe show, but I don't know if that's what you were thinking.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. In that case, then I think that, yeah.
I will take a seat
Okay.
and then take a long breath.
And that's where we will end the
Nice.
episode.
Nice.
And that's where we will end today's episode.
Oh,
Boy,
okay.
So much
Fine.
going on.
But there's a lot going
Yeah.
on. To be fair, I think the Inquisitors are probably the ones we'll go for.
yeah.
Like,
They're also the cheapest.
also the cheap. Well, we don't know what
we don't know what
Blackwing.
Blackwing
Blackwing has got the Duke's favour or the Duke's, I guess, permission.
Consent.
But
I'd say it'd probably be a very similar thing with Blackwing, where it'd be like go and collect a bunch of mundane things, or maybe things you've got to go out like a day and come back to get them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I want to make certain spells like things like remove curse or like things like if you eventually get to the point of raise dead or resurrection, like they're going to be like rituals where you have to go and get like certain specific things and bring them together and do a cool ritual, basically.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same for remove curse. But yeah, in that case, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching episode 20, Child of the Grave.
that's right.
So,
Ophelia
is this the
journey
first time that
continues.
we've had a party on different planes of existence? Probably not. But it's a pretty good.
same
If you're going to
time,
split the
yeah.
party, what a great way to do it.
Split by planes, yeah.
Split them by life and death.
Literally.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, that is going to be it. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye.